What is up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. I'm Brayathorn. How you doing? We're here. It's Thursday, and you know, it's yet another sesh, another PCs and Yap sesh. Look, listen, I've done this like thousands of times. You can't expect fresh material every time, okay? I hope y'all are doing well, and I hope that the week has treated you well so far. Almost over. Almost there. Oh yeah, what's up, Revenge 1736? How you doing? Braxton, what's going on, bud? How you doing? Welcome in over to YouTube land. Steve, welcome. Chris Crawford, how you doing? Welcome. And yeah, Zach is doing a giveaway. I think they give away a PC at least once a month over on ZTT. Peter, how you doing? Welcome. Doing okay. Doing good. I am. Yeah, he's live right now. Yeah. He. I mean, his schedule for streaming on Thursdays is pretty similar to mine. No getting around that. I mean, I don't know. I've been doing these streams on Thursdays for quite a while, so that's just going to be that overlap, and we'll be okay with it. And though any of you who are like here instead of there, I mean, maybe you could have both open and just, you know, you can mute Zach. I mean, I think it's more, he's got more like, you know, things in the looks department, a little more going for him. You know, I left that behind a long time ago, so. I'm just kidding. No, he's a good dude. I enjoy watching his short form content. They have a really good system over there. He was talking about it recently, how he'll basically sit down and record, like, do a whole session of like 6 or 7 or 8 shorts, and then he sends it off to the editor, and then throughout the week they'll post 2 a day or something, and that's the growth from him doing that, from Meta PCs doing that. Their channel growth has been insane, but it also reflects something that I heard a lot about when I was at NAB. When I was at NAB, which is about it's for broadcasting and filming and recording, whether it's hobby or professional, right? All the way from, you know, just getting started all the way to Hollywood. Hobby to Hollywood is how I was saying it then. I was like, yeah, when I was explaining it to a friend. But anyways, but people would ask me what my sub count was, and I'd be like, I would say it's around 40K, something like that. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, it's long form content though. They're like, wow, yeah, okay. No, see, because it's harder to build that. Short form content can build subscribers really quickly, which is great. That's really good, especially and for a business like Meta PCs, and of course ZTT is a business. They sell pre-builds. That kind of growth is kind of, I mean, it's advertising. It's not necessary. It can be educational, honest, you know, obviously, but also just think about how many ZTT shorts you've seen. Where it's like, of course, I sell pre-builds, and then when I build my pre-builds, and he just had one with like a GPU support bracket, which by the way is an awesome one, and I've used it. It's super rad and very very sturdy. And I'm glad they use those. But if with any like 3-fan GPUs, they use a specific GPU support bracket. And but of course, it's like when we sell our pre-builts, and of course, Meta PCs is Meta PCs, you know. But you know, it's good to see them like doing well with that. And it's funny because like when I first talked to Meta PCs back in the day, they weren't anywhere close to that. I had much more followage than they did. And then it's a little weird thinking about talking about stuff now, because now they're like YouTube famous. That's great. But it is in short form, like a short form audience. And it's really hard to transition that audience to long form content. It is very hard. Hear me out. ZTT Brayathorn collab. I've talked to Zach before. You know, he's even come in and hung out in the stream once or twice. But like the time that I've covered ZTT builds or their pre-built side, I had some constructive criticism. I didn't like the motherboard he was using in his budget system, and then he took that feedback and he changed it. Super cool dude. Like, he's been building PCs a long time, and I don't run a business like that. He knows he knows his P&L sheets better than I ever will. But he heard my feedback and he changed it. It had a 512 drive, a 512 gig storage drive on an M-ATX motherboard in a full ATX case, by the way, and that motherboard only had one M.2 socket on it. I was like, bro, let me go over why this is bad in the video. I did a video a while back covering content creators that are also system integrators, or vice versa, basically. So like Gamertech Toronto, the Toasty Bros, Zach's Tech Turf, stuff like that. But he was super cool. How's it going, Bray? What's up, Exiled Wolf? How you doing? Attention spans nowadays are really bad. I mean, yeah, TikTok pretty much cooked attention spans, and Instagram Reels, and then YouTube Shorts. And YouTube Shorts was like, "Ooh, are we frying people's brains? We want in on that." Yeah, but I'm over here. I watch YouTube Shorts all the time, so I can't say anything. Happy Taco Tuesday, Rurutu. It is Thursday, but I did have tacos. Revenge says, my motherboard has only one M.2 slot. Well, I hope you put a large enough M.2 drive in there so that it's not a pain point, because in the PC he was selling, it was only 512 gig, and that's what the customer would be stuck with, other than SATA SSDs or hard drives. So, yeah. What's up, Robert? How's it going? Chris says, but shows himself drinking alcohol. I mean, that's legal to do. There's nothing really wrong with that. I'm not a drinker myself. I never drink alcohol. If I get a 6-pack of beer, it's in the fridge for like a year and then I throw it away. I might have one or two, and then I don't even finish those. I'm really bad at drinking alcohol, but I'm fine with that. But I don't really judge other people for doing it unless they do it to excess and affect the people around them. Yeah. Then I'm like, that's not great for you or your loved ones, and maybe pump the brakes. But I can't tell people how to live unless they're endangering others. Then I can maybe suggest they not do that. But it's not my business otherwise. I keep flip-flopping on this. Regardless, it's his right to do that, those are during his gaming streams where he'll do that. I don't know if he does it while PC building. I doubt it, but who knows? Rurutu says, SATA SSD good enough. What year is it, Rurutu? Are you serious? No one should be buying SATA SSDs at this point. They're the same price as M.2. Like, I would rather have a PCIe Gen 3 M.2 drive than a SATA SSD. And some M.2 drives in PCIe Gen 3 are cheaper than the same capacity SATA SSD. Now, hard disagree. Nick Blanton, what's going on? What's your thoughts on a RTX 5070 with an Intel 7 Ultra 265? Well, Nick, those will function together just fine. I mean, I don't know what use case you're talking about. If you're talking about for 4K gaming, then you might want to go to a 5070 Ti. I'm a big fan of the 265K. It's a fantastic CPU for the price. 20 cores for it was actually down to, I think, 260 over on Prime days or whatever. And of course, then you had other sites who were like, well, us too, yeah, 265K is fantastic. I have one right in there, and it's great. But the 5070, I don't know what you're using it for. If it's 1440p gaming, sure. Anything above that, 4K gaming, it'll start to, depending on the game, it can start running short on VRAM with high textures, high texture quality, things like that. Will a 512 memory even run GTA 6? Like storage? Probably not. No. It's going to be terabytes of video game. So no. But then again, Steve, this was the budget system. But I mean, even back then, I was like, yeah, nothing should have less than a terabyte. Have you downloaded a game recently? Like, no. But yeah, we are here And of course, I absolutely appreciate you being a part of that. I need to check if anyone has filled out the form. I think that would be cool if they did, so I can help somebody out. We had quite a few to do last time. Or no, I think I did like 2 last time. Looks like we did have someone fill out the form yesterday. South Row 22. I hope they come back in. I need to make sure, and I maybe I'll edit the form right now to reflect this. There we go. Now it just says you must be present during a live stream for your one-on-one. There you go. But I think some people think like they can fill out the form and I'll like email them or something. No, it's live stream only. Nick, you may recall that while I was responding to you, I was mentioning resolutions, 4K, 1440p. When you're talking about GPUs, the resolution you're going to go for on your monitor, and I know that this isn't something people just like know if you're just getting into this stuff. That's totally fine. But for future note, like for future reference, especially if you hear me responding to you earlier and mentioning 4K, 1440p, maybe 1080p, then if you're going to say the games you play, make sure you say like, yeah, I play more Call of Duty in 1440p. That, like, it sounds weird, I know, if you never talk about this kind of stuff. But it's a huge element to choosing the right GPU. And like, what does that mean? It's the resolution of the monitor. That means how many pixels the GPU has to render. And that's a huge deal. GTA 6 still 2 years away. Yeah, I feel bad whenever I hear someone talking about GTA 6 in reference to gaming on PC, because they weren't into, I imagine they weren't into PC gaming for the first few years of GTA 5, because there were a stretch of years between it launching, launching on PS4 and then just taking forever to come out on, was it PS3 or PS4 that GTA 5 launched? One of the two. It might have been PS3, and like, I don't remember. But it took years to come to PC. And Rockstar has only indicated that they're going to do the same thing here. It's going to take a while for GTA 6 to come to PC. And when I say a while, we might be in the 2030s at that point. I don't know. 2028, 2029, 2030, who knows? Yeah, PS3, it launched. Yeah. Will, what's going on? Hello, Braythorn. I literally have you on my notifications. Make sure I want to share. Thank you for doing that. And I appreciate all of y'all who hit the notification bell so that, whenever I go live, you don't miss it. My PC's delayed for Monday now. It was supposed to be tomorrow. Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that. Who was that from again? Was that Skytech? I mean, you have to remember, Will, if anything is getting airshipped, like shipped via air, a lot of air traffic is being delayed right now because of air traffic controllers having to work with no pay. Government shutdown is affecting a lot of workers who are, some are furloughed, and the others who are essential workers like air traffic controllers, TSA agents, things like that, are being forced to work without pay. So I know that might mean you got to go a couple more days without your PC, but for some people, it means they might not be able to put food on the table. You know what I mean? We got to keep perspective on this kind of stuff. I am sorry to hear that, though. So, Bray, what do you think about the Xbox Games Pass mess? Sailor, I was never someone who was pushing Xbox Game Pass. I never really used it, and it just seemed like this could be right for somebody. I don't really use it, but it could be right for somebody. When it comes to video games, I know the ones I want to play. So while it doesn't affect me, I know I get probably hundreds of thousands of people who it does affect. And with Xbox, Microsoft just being like, hey, we're going to increase the price. Not because you guys know, if you've got your whatever, Disney Plus, Netflix, whatever, you might get 2 emails a year where they raise the price. And they just do that by $1, $2, whatever per month. 50% price increase to $30 a month is crazy. That's crazy. Now, is it still probably a solid, like before it was an insane value. You just played any of the games you wanted on there, day one release, all that. They've taken that away for people who want to pay a smaller amount. They've taken day one releases away from that. So I don't even know if there were multiple levels before. I don't think so. I thought it was just one membership thing. But yeah, the thing is they hooked a lot of people and then they raised the rates. Business, capitalism. Yay. That's how that goes. It's by FedEx, yes. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's a lot of that stuff is delayed. What you want to hope for is that it arrives safely. That's the hope. Because right now, I have been toying with the idea of maybe canceling my trip to TwitchCon because I might not make it there or make it back. I might spend a day and a half in the airport waiting for a connecting flight. I don't know how it is right now. It's pretty scary. I mean, plane tickets, fares are really low right now, so there's that. So I might have a discount one-way ticket. Revenge says, what would be the best GPU for a Ryzen 5 5500? It's for my brother's PC. We are in the final stages of planning. He has a tighter budget. Revenge, it would not hurt to say a number. Tighter budget is like, it can mean anything. Like, what if you're fabulously wealthy and your brother is slightly less fabulously wealthy and his GPU budget is only $2,500, which is a tighter budget? You got to give me a number. And that's my advice to all you guys all the time, every time when you're asking for help, provide as much information as possible. And budget is a critical thing. I feel like I'm telling people this more and more every single day. It's not a problem, by the way. You're here in chat, you can add the info. But there's people who will post things like YouTube comments or things in Discord where you don't know where they are, if they're going to come back anytime soon. And they might come back later and expect an answer, and everybody ignored their question because they're like, I'm not going to make an exhaustive list of OLED gaming monitors for this person just because they wouldn't give me a budget to shoot for them, which is something someone did in Discord. Like, they just say, hey, what's a good OLED gaming monitor? Oh, here's a $1,500 one. There you go. It's really, really nice and it has all these features, and it's like super ultra wide. There you go. Probably need more money to throw at AI. 2 months equals 1 game. Oh, Microsoft? I mean, sure, I guess. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Probably like $300 max, because I know that the 5500 isn't the most powerful. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm going to show you something. Everybody pay attention, because I can't come up with something off the top of my head right now. So we're going to do this together. There we go. Okay. Ignore this. We're going to go to video card. This is PC part picker. And what we're going to do is we're going to go here, and this searches a lot of sites, all of that. We're going to go to price, and we're just going to bring that down to the goal budget. I'm going to go to like maybe $350 just to give you a few more options. And then you click price twice, and that brings up the most expensive options on the list. And then you start looking under chipset, and then you can see sort of, what some of these GPUs are, and aim for something that sounds good to you. Also, VRAM is listed right next to it. This is an incredibly useful tool. Rather than hoping that someone can come up with something off the top of their head, even if they talk about this stuff all the time, like me. This is going to be way more helpful than I ever could be when it comes to just a suggestion like that. So again, you just go to pcpartpicker.com, right? You can go to products, video cards, and do that. And if you want to search by GPU, you can. You want to search by VRAM, you can. There's all kinds of different options that you got. Even the colorway, if you want something that's going to be a white GPU, bam, done. Look at that, right? But yeah, so do that. We look at around, let's say 325 or 343, sure. And then we go price. There we go. Now it's the most expensive ones on top. Arc A750, not for a newbie, I would say, unless you're good at troubleshooting, updating drivers, things like that. If you're like, I want something with higher VRAM, well, the VRAM's right here. And oh, look, there's a 12 gig card. Oh, but that's a 3060 for $329. Probably not worth it. 4060 Ti, but the 8 gig version. You know, this, just shop around. You know what I mean? Here's a 5060 for $329.99 if you want something that is the latest generation, uses DLSS 4. And yeah, with something like a 5500, probably not bad if you're gaming at 1080p. Yeah, but it's only got 8 gigs of VRAM. It's going to explode and the world is melting because 8 gigs of VRAM. Shush. You've been fed that. If you're gaming at 1080p on medium textures and things like that, you're going to do fine. There's people still gaming with like 6 gigs of VRAM on a 1660 Super and stuff like that. You're fine. But let's see. If we keep scrolling, yada, yada, yada. You can look for maybe, you can also, if you want like, oh, I want an AMD card. All right, cool. So if we go here, one way to narrow that down is to go here and select FreeSync. That's AMD's technology. And there you go. These are all the, look, there's a 9060 XT, but the 8 gig version, is there a 16 gig? There is, right? But $339, there you go. $315 for RX 6600, but don't buy that because bam, 7700 XT, 12 gigs of VRAM, $309.99. That's your deal right there. That's insanely good. Here you go. That's the one. Get that. But remember, guys, if you're looking for help, the other option and the main option here is to fill out the form and get in line for help rather than me trying to juggle 8 different people or 20 different people in chat who are asking me a bunch of different questions. If you're looking for help finding a pre-built or with a parts list or for an upgrade, like suggestions on an upgrade, all of those things can be covered by filling out the form. On YouTube side of things, it's in the description. It's the first link there. And on Twitch, it's being posted in chat randomly by Stream Elements. Want help getting the right PC for your budget and needs? Fill out this form. There's a link at the end. Click that. That will force you to provide me with most of the information I need to give you an actual helpful suggestion or recommendation. All right, you got it, Chris. We'll be here. Be safe. Tech enthusiasts, what's up? Welcome. We will see. I'm not sure. Clash Harry. Again. Clash Harry, I see you there saying, what budget GPU can I pair with a Ryzen 9600? Give me a number. Don't say budget. Budget for you might not be the same as budget for somebody else. You know the number that you can spend on a GPU. Say it to the person you're asking for help from. People, give a number for how much a thing can cost if you want a suggestion for a thing. I feel like this being the second time I've said that tonight, it is not going to be the last. Okay. What's up, Say PC? What's up, Mikey? How's it going? There's never a wrong OLED. I feel like maybe there is, but I won't be pedantic. Exiled Wolf says, I've got the PC version of the Xbox Game Pass. It's going to $16, so it's not too bad. Wait, really? Interesting. Is there a form to fill out to figure out what sales I should run for Black Friday? Mikey, I'm sorry, I haven't responded to your DM demanding that I have suggestions. I don't know. I don't run sales. I just report them. But good job just bringing it right back to the forefront here. I don't know. I don't know. I will say I am doing a collab for Black Friday, so I'm also not a neutral party there now. So it's a little hard for me to say anything there. But I mean, whatever you're comfortable doing. Okay. Picture the delivery driver shouting, "This looks expensive" at the front door. Is that a thing? What's up, Tanmay? How's it going? RAM and SSD prices have gone up. There was an actual legitimate reason for it, as far as if I recall correctly. I just can't remember exactly what it was. Thought about getting my sister PC from Skytech. Then I remembered she is 82 years old. So? Well, Mikey, yeah. And it was another company the year before. It's just, you know, it made sense for them. And yeah. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun collab. He's using a 1650 with an i5 4460 on a hard drive, so almost anything would be better. He might get a better performance upgrade by switching to an M.2 SSD, by the way, if that board will support it. I know that in that generation, I had a 4790K, and my motherboard did have an M.2 slot, Gen 3, so I believe it was Gen 3. PCIe Gen 3, yeah. Anyways, how much longer do you think that NVIDIA will make GPUs for gaming? They're currently like 95% of that market. So, or 90, actually, no, I think for gaming side of things, it's a lower number, but still a massive number. I don't see Jensen giving that up necessarily, but are they going to do consumer friendly stuff? No, they don't care. People are going to buy their stuff anyway. We've proven time and time again that while we might complain and yell and cry about what they do in terms of availability and pricing, we will still buy everything they make, with a few exceptions. They were having trouble moving their 8 gig cards for a while there. And also, I think the 4080, we voted with our wallets. We didn't buy that, but it doesn't matter. The way that we protested was by buying a different NVIDIA GPU. Like, I don't have to convince y'all. They still own the market. So you can protest as loud as you want, and I can talk about how great a deal like a 7700 XT for $309 is. That's amazing, by the way. It's really, really good. Someone's still going to buy NVIDIA. And what happens whenever someone comes in and tells me, "Oh, I want to do content creation"? NVIDIA owns that market, and they have them working directly with a lot of the softwares out there that people use for those kinds of things, and ensuring compatibility and all of that, and studio drivers. Yeah. What am I supposed to do? Lie to people? It's not bias. I think NVIDIA's done some really crappy stuff, and I've called them out for it time and time again. It's just, if someone wants to spend the money on a thing and have that thing do the thing they want it to do, I'm going to tell them what thing to get. Anyone see 9950 X3D on sale at Micro Center for $600? That's still like $70 off their normal pricing. A lot of their stuff was on sale, though. Joel and True, exactly until we stop paying and vote with our wallets by going Intel or AMD, it will never change. Joel, and here's the thing. People are also desperately afraid that NVIDIA will stop making gaming GPUs. So, like, that could be the side effect of people boycotting the gaming GPUs. They'll be like, okay, screw you guys then. We're just going to make billions and trillions of dollars doing AI stuff later. Enjoy your day one drivers with Intel ARC cards. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah, it's like that. Human VT, what's up? I'm contemplating what to upgrade next in my set. Wait. Okay. In my setup, I am running a... Okay, did you hear me talk earlier about filling out the form? I'll give you the link again. Oh, it's capitalized. It still works though. Go ahead and click that link, fill out the form. Okay. Oh, it also did the auto post. Okay. Well, it's still legible. I mean, it's still legible right there where it says want help getting the right PC. Yeah. I don't say anything about upgrades though, I guess, but yeah. Sergio Gaming, what's up? How's it going? Nvidia's happy to sell us their scraps, and everyone keeps just consuming. Yeah, that's the thing about complaining about consumerism while consuming. They'll be like, "Yeah, you're right. That's terrible that we did that. Buy our stuff. Cool. There you go." I'm going for an i5 series CPU or AMD Ryzen 5 with it. Okay, guys, I'm going to say this again. And now you might have come in after I said it, but it was very recent, so I'm going to act like you were here when I said it. If you're looking for help, whether it's for finding the right pre-built, if you're trying to like build your first PC or your first PC in a while, and you want me to help you with a parts list, or you're trying to figure out upgrades, please fill out the form to get in there, because usually I'm left having to drag information out of people, and y'all make me really work for that free help you're getting. But instead, if you're watching on YouTube, look at the description. It is the very first thing there. Click that link, fill out that form. If you're watching on Twitch, it pops up incrementally there, or now and then, where it says need help finding the right PC or parts list, fill out this form. I mean, that's on purpose. I promise you that's not an accident that those things are there and that I'm saying this stuff. It helps me out a lot to do it that way. Currently on PS5 Pro, I just bought a pre-built with the 5070 and the 265. Do you mean 265 or do you mean 265K? Nick, I'll read this out for the Twitch viewers so I can't see it. Okay. I'm currently on PS5 Pro. I just bought a pre-built with the 5070 and the Core Ultra 7. It's not i7 anymore. It's Core Ultra 7, by the way. 265. Not 265K, maybe? I don't know. With Red Dead and COD, what do you think about what FPS I will get on 1440p and 1080p? I don't know. I am not an FPS calculator. That is a weird thing to ask a human being. I have no idea. I don't know what settings you're going to run. I don't know what you're going to have running in the background. I don't know are you going to have high textures? Are you going to have low? Are you going to run the lowest settings possible to get the highest FPS? I have no way of knowing what specific frames per second number you're going to get. So I don't know. It's an odd thing to be asked, and it's, I guess, not that odd because I do get asked about specific FPS numbers all the time. There's no way for me to predict what that's going to be. You have the thing. What are you getting? Now I'm curious, and you're more equipped to tell me because you have the system. So let me know. I started having to drink every time Bray has to say, fill out the form. I'm broke and alcoholic now. Okay, Steve, we don't want you at the hospital getting your stomach pumped. Please put down the drink. That is not a good drinking game idea. Yes, Nvidia couldn't care less about gaming. It's just a side media thing. Tech enthusiast, I can't quite agree with that, because I mean, it's like a separate department there. GeForce is a separate department with tenured people that are there, that are invested in Nvidia. And Jensen, I hope, will not just completely forget his roots, because that's how he got where he is making gaming cards. But there's no, like, if you had asked anybody in my field, right, tech YouTuber, whatever, tech content creator, hey, is Nvidia, if you had asked us 3-4 years ago, is Nvidia going to be the most valuable, most highly valuated company in the world? We'd be like, I don't know, probably not. That's kind of, they just make graphics cards. Like, specifically, they just make that thing. Like, you've got Apple, you've got Microsoft. How is Nvidia going to beat them? I mean, they're huge, yes. In that space, they're huge. But no, then, you know, they bought in big time to AI, and people ridiculed them for that. For DLSS and ray tracing and all those things. It was like, oh, no games have this. Now games have it, okay? Time passed, which is what happens with technologies that are new. Time passes, adoption occurs. Anyways, I got notes on that. I've got feelings on that. Sick PCs, remember one thing. Won't be good is really relative, right? Remember that Core Ultra 200S was not flamed for having zero gaming performance. It was flamed for having similar gaming performance to the previous generation that was actually really sick at gaming. It just didn't improve on the frames per second, but instead improved on power draw and temps. Something that we had been yelling at Intel about for many years. And when they finally did it, we were like, what? It's getting the same results with better power draw and better temperatures. Yes, that's actual progression of the technology, but we want to see big number go bigger. And so what we're going to say is it's not good. Don't be part of that, man. You're better than this. Come on. You know better. You probably saw the reviews, or maybe you listened to other people say it's not good and you just parroted that response, but don't do that. You don't have to be at top of chart for it to be good. You're talking about spending double to go from here to here on the chart. And that's bad. That's bad finance. That's bad personal finances. It's not good. You don't get double the performance with a 9800X 3D than you would get on a 265K. You just don't, but it costs double. So I think you can do better than that, Mikey. I think you can do better than 1080 won't be good. That doesn't mean anything. That is compared to what? It's still going to be at the higher end of a chart because it's still, you know, in keeping with the previous generation that was actually really rad for gaming. We're talking about Call of Duty here. You will get a ton more performance. More performance. Sure. Double the performance? Is it double the performance at 1080p? Are we sure about that? But also, when you say it's more performance, that doesn't mean that the other number is a not good number. Is it less than 60 frames per second at 1080p? That's unplayable, right? You're still talking about over 100 frames per second. I don't know COD. I don't know Call of Duty. But there are times when you don't want to use terms that are too specific, and there's times when you don't want to use terms that are too vague. And I'm just honestly tired of people mindlessly trashing Intel 200S, Core Ultra 200S. It is pushing people away from the best price to performance thing out there. And I'm also, if someone comes in with a budget of $1,000 and I don't recommend a $470 CPU and they freak out because everybody says, this, you got to get CPU, got to get this CPU, or else you suck and you should just expel yourself from the human race. Like, relax. It'll still perform fine. It will, unless you're a competitive gamer. If you're a competitive gamer, pro gamer, esports, you want to get up on that stage and click heads, right? Cool. Then you probably are saving up the extra money it costs to spend double the price on the CPU. Cool. That's good. And you know that you need that. But a lot of people don't know they don't need that. And when you're looking at like $260 and other equivalent priced CPUs, like the 265K will bury a 7700X or a 9700X, or at least be a little bit above that. And then in every other task, it will bury it for the same money. And nobody pays attention to this because, but I looked at chart, it not up here, it a little bit farther down. That's not a crime against humanity like people treat it. I don't like that mentality. Is it going to be better to have anything X3D? Yeah, AMD's had that ace in the hole for a long time now. And Intel didn't have an answer to that, so they did what we wanted. They made the things run cooler and use less power. And they get equivalent performance to the previous generation where power was so bad, the CPUs literally ate themselves from the inside out. They devoured themselves. That was the problem. And anyways, also it was just faulty microcode, right? But it was also, they were insane to cool. It is so hard to keep a 14900K at a reasonable temperature. Holy crap. What's up, Daredy? How's it going? I believe it's 33% more money at the moment. Well, there's sales at the moment, and that's going to happen. And generally, when the price on the higher end CPU goes down, so does the lower price on the lower end CPU. They're kind of shifting. Sometimes there'll be a sale on one, sometimes not on the other. So it's not necessarily always double the price or whatever. But my point stands. People act like if you're not at the top of the charts, get out of town, get out of here, quit, uninstall. And I don't like that mentality because it forces people to spend more money than they're comfortably able to spend. I am sick of the tech industry doing that to people in a crap economy. And I will swiftly respond to anyone I see parroting that message, even if it's for themselves, because I don't want y'all to do that to yourselves either. Now, the 9800X3D is great, and it's actually, you know, I put my foot in my mouth on that because it's actually better at video editing than I thought in terms of Premiere Pro. But the fact that it is, okay, 33% to sometimes 80% more than a 265K, and it's way down the list from that CPU, that is significant to me. I feel like things like that are not reported on. And it's very much biased. Listen, I'm going to say this word. I'm going to say it very clearly, okay? No, that's the wrong button. Here we go. Listen. That is biased towards AMD, whether you know it or not. You have been sold a bias towards a corporation that doesn't need to have anything to do with you, owes you nothing. So you don't owe them your allegiance, and you should look at their products in a not necessarily flattering light. Look at it clearly for what it is, what the price does to people, and do they actually need that? Will they benefit more by going up a tier in GPU? And for a lot of people moving up to 1440p gaming, yeah, they will. Oh, Call of Duty. Okay, Call of Duty. You're right. I'll go freaking jump off a bridge now because Call of Duty makes me completely wrong. I don't freaking care. Most people, the things I said, that is true for them. Anyway, I hope I've made my point. Oh, that's okay, Serbia. You're good. It's just that I had already had to say it a couple times, and you came into that, so that's not your fault. Okay, so it would be all right. Let's get down to business because I am apparently chomping at the bit to rant about stuff. I've been ranting about how people just glaze X3D chips as if they're faultless little angel chips that are the answer to the hunger crisis, the housing crisis, and also maybe the life, the universe, and everything. That bothers me. It is completely overhyped. And then people will use one game to say, but no, this is why all that overhyping is totally worth it. Spend $200 more on your CPU, please. Yeah, no, I don't go for that. And I feel like way too many people do, people who should know better. And that means I don't blame any one person for feeling that way, but it does make me extra angry over it. Because a lot of people I respect glaze the hell out of these chips, and it bothers me to no end. So, Human VT, I know you're here. This is the rant of the stream. Is it your first time here, Revenge? I don't limit myself like that. I'm gonna rant the whole stream. How about that? What if we do unlocked rantathon? How about that? It's like a subathon, but the more subs y'all gift, the more I rant. How about that? I'll get some honey lemon tea, for the voice, so I don't strain myself. It'd be great. I just want us to think clearly when it comes to hardware. And one last note on it. I understand that during, basically we had gone through like 50 series launch, and then AMD Radeon completely lying about their MSRPs, coming back and saying, oh, well, that's just for the first shipment. Oh, but then they're like, no, we didn't mean it was for the first shipment. Oh, but yet you can't find them for MSRP. Sorry. And all this kind of stuff was going on. And then, you know, before that, and I actually, of course, the 9800 X3D was before all of that. Okay, it was. But we had come off of, you know, some just not amazing hardware launches. And then when the 9800 X3D came out, everybody was like, oh my God, some good news, finally. And I was just like, yo, this thing is so ungodly expensive, just like the last one. Where is the 9600 X3D? Nowhere, because we keep buying the one that's too expensive. So I have basically carved out a resentment for a chip, and I need to maybe chill on that. I've recommended it plenty of times when it's the right thing for somebody because the budget's high enough. That's why there's a pro gaming esports option in the forum. Okay, and look, then you see it here: gaming, pro gaming, esports. That's the wrong. I keep pressing the wrong button, man. It's driving me crazy. Okay, and streaming. Okay. So, okay, now, you may have noticed Human VT, when you fill this out, it says upgrade, please have a list of your components ready. Do you have a list of your components for me? Didn't mean to step on that landmine. He said Call of Duty, and it just happens to be my specialty. I don't know what it is about Call of Duty. Like, I'm not saying this in a serious light, but it's a freaking cult. How do they get y'all to spend what, like 70, 80 bucks a year for a slightly refreshed game every freaking year? How do they do this? And I watch gameplay of Call of Duty and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why is that child talking like that to people? What is happening? And this is apparently is the peak of entertainment, and people will spend thousands of hard-earned dollars on this game to run it. With hardware wise is what I mean. It's crazy to me. I've never understood Call of Duty. Okay, yes. Ryzen 7. Wait, all you're asking is... Wait, what? Okay. Okay, Revenge is asking if there's a problem with the build. 9800 X3D, 5070, 32 gigs DDR5, 6000 megatransfers per second RAM, B650p Wi-Fi, 2 terabytes of storage, Corsair 4000D. Okay. What are we upgrading? What are you trying to upgrade in your build that you have a $1,000 to $1,500 budget for? I'm glad you guys enjoyed the rant. Thank you. EB Speaking Facts. Thank you. Rant-a-thon. Yeah. Come on, Barrythorn. Geez, I have a problem with Call of Duty. I know. The thing is, like, we talk about alcoholism, you know, as a problem. We talk about gambling addiction. We need interventions for Call of Duty. I'm telling you. Unless, I guess, maybe like Mikey said, I can tell you a story about why it's Call of Duty for me, or why Call of Duty for me, but it would be a book. I guess the human mind can justify things. No, maybe it's an actually really touching story, okay? And I understand that. People have their reasons for getting attached to certain things and having it be a hobby for them. You know, I'm no one to judge, for sure. It's because Call of Duty got us in our 20s, and it's included with PC Game Pass. Okay. That's what I'm wondering, because I'm debating getting either 5080 or getting more storage, as CPU and RAM don't need to upgrade. Okay. What's wrong with the system, though? And Revenge said it. What's it doing wrong? Where is it having an issue that you're needing to upgrade it? I'm going to tell you something that's a rule of mine when it comes to upgrades, okay? You don't upgrade in the same generation. Like, you gave NVIDIA money for your 5070. Cool. that should have been the card that you know, that's the right card for you, right? You're hardly gonna get any benefit in performance. Well, a 5070 Ti, then 5080. So there will be a jump in performance, but like, do you need the extra VRAM? Are you gaming at 4K? No, you said you're gaming at 1080p. You're probably fine with the 5070. But where is it lacking? Where is the problem with the build? What is it doing wrong? You shouldn't be getting another 50 series card. You should be sticking with the 50 series card you have, maybe 60 series, but most people will go 2 generations without swapping out their card or more. So what's making you upgrade in the same generation, and why did you what led you to this situation where you're already having to upgrade the GPU? Now, to be fair, yeah, you will get more frames per second at 1080p, but really it's not going to, like, it's a balance at that point between GPU and CPU. You're probably not going to see a massive benefit. I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, Revenge, you can also use it for higher frame rates in 1080p. Just like you can get a 4K GPU, like a 5080, to run 1440p at a higher frame rate. It's just hardware. It's not assigned to anything. We do that arbitrarily so that it helps with sorting out recommendations, right? So if someone says they want a game at 1440p and they give me a certain budget, I can sort of slot them into here. You fit with this kind of GPU, this class of GPU basically, and then we can go from there. That doesn't mean you can't use a 5070 for 1080p gaming or a 5080 for 1440p gaming. Like, it works either way. But a 5070 should be rocking at 1080p. Now, you said your storage was 2 terabytes. Are you running out of storage? Human VT. Are you running low on storage? Are you like, when usually you got to respond at some point. Like, you basically, upgrades are meant to fix something lacking in your PC that's not living up to what you need. So if everything's running just fine, don't touch it. Back away slowly. Put your money back in your wallet. If everything's running to a point, like, unless you're sitting there staring at an FPS counter saying, go up, go up, go up, go up, go higher. Just stop doing that and have fun playing games. You will probably forget about frames per second altogether. Take that money, get an OLED monitor. That'll probably improve your gaming experience even more. And actually, for competitive gaming, basically the pixel refresh rate on there, the gray to gray, is faster as well. So that can, and also you have really low latency with those. The game I'm running, Marvel Rivals, is struggling because I'm using a 360 hertz refresh rate monitor. And yes, I am running out of storage. So the storage thing, you get more storage. No problem. That's totally fine. And I can recommend a good drive for you. As for struggling with a 360 hertz monitor, do you just mean it's not reaching 360 hertz? Because that's not necessarily a problem. That's not an actual problem. It's like saying, oh man, I need a faster car. Like, my car, let's just say you have a car that goes 40 miles an hour. And let's say, hypothetically, it's a normal situation, right? And it's a 70 mile an hour speed limit zone, right? And there's no thought of you going too slow, right? You're saying like, oh, I want a faster car because I have the potential to go 70 here, but my car doesn't want to do it. That's not a good analogy, okay? Because that would be a dangerous situation. Whatever. I'm just saying, just because your monitor can do that, that doesn't mean you're struggling if it's not reaching. That's a really high refresh rate. Now, the other option is, if the frames are really important to you, drop your settings down. Pro gamers, esports athletes, run low settings. They don't need it to be pretty. And as a matter of fact, things like a lot of grass and stuff like that can hurt you because they can hide your enemies. What you want is the highest draw distance possible, right? You want the draw distance so that people pop in sooner and you can see them and snipe them or whatever. But you want to turn your textures way down. You want to turn your grass and all that other stuff way down. You don't need ray tracing. Turn that stuff down. Turn it off. And your frame rate should shoot up. That's the strategy. I don't want you to I'm not saying this to make you feel bad, but I do want to say, like, there are, if you put someone on a PC that's getting 120 hertz, right? But they're very, very skilled at the game, and you have somebody who is like becoming more skilled and working on that, but they have 240 hertz or 360 hertz. They'll probably still get taken out by the person who is very experienced, or, has developed their skills more and all that stuff. It's not going to win you the game to have 50, 60 more FPS. They say frames win games. Yes, I understand that, and there is some merit to it, but it's not everything. Lower your settings, lower the graphic settings, because Marvel Rivals has some really pretty visuals. Turn that off, except for draw distance, essentially. You want to see them coming from far away, although that was kind of my beef with Marvel Rivals. Is like, really, a lot of the arenas are just really tight, and I'm just not very, I don't have good reflexes, so I didn't do good at that game. But yeah, this is what I'm saying, guys. Like, there should have been a 9600 X3D for this situation, where you could have saved a couple $100, put that towards a 5070 Ti. 5070 Ti is a monster. Like, 5080, a little bit better, has dual encoders. You do say you were doing streaming, right? And that could have helped you there. But I mean, you bought a 5070, unless you're going to resell it and recoup that money, although you'll lose a little bit. It's a tough sell for me. But if you're going to get a 5080, now is not a bad time. One thing I need to know, though, and I don't see it in, I know I've yapped a lot to stuff that you're just not going to agree with. It's just not going to do it for you. Give me a recommendation, computer man. Don't give me opinions. Well, that's what recommendations are. They're opinions. But you didn't list, funnily enough, your power supply wattage. I'm not going to recommend a 5080 to you unless I know your power supply can handle it. I get what you mean, no offense taken. That's what I like. I like to hear that. You'll fit in just fine around here. I'm very hoping 109 so far. Horse Soda, what's up? I'm doing good. Great time to watch the lot. Steve, I wish I could. I'm trying to prepare for a trip that I might not go on. I always panic right before a trip and overpack and all that. I can't really afford to do that this time. $1,000 watt, 80 plus gold. Okay, then you should be fine. Okay, so another thing is, I would have actually probably gone with, I don't know what your original budget was. I probably would have gone with a slightly higher capacity of RAM, because streaming is like, they keep adding features to OBS and adding this and adding that, and games are getting less and less optimized. I'm starting to lean towards 48 or 64 gigs for streaming PCs, where I used to be like 32 is fine. Well, game devs and OBS they're changing that. Okay, I'm just gonna go here. By the way, Revenge, I hope you saw that I gave you a link to the GPU I was recommending for your brother. It's a fantastic deal. RX 7700 XT for $310 is really, really good. MSI OLED 1440p on sale for $460, I believe. Nice. OLED, I've never had an OLED monitor to this day. I've been sent two monitors to review, to look at, and no one ever wants to send me an OLED monitor. It's a shame. It's a shame. Listen, I spent all my money on filming gear and set dressing and setup stuff. Like I can't just be for my own enjoyment buying a monitor when I potentially at some point will just get one. They keep dangling that like a carrot on a stick. I don't know. That's great, Mikey. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy you're happy. Okay, so we go here. And he's, well, let's just go to about this much. And if we go to about this much, that should narrow it down to 5080s. Or I can just search 5080 and not be a doofus. Wait, really? Hold on. Really? Oh, my bad. You know what? I'm just going to refresh this. That'll be better. Yeah, it kept my specification of FreeSync. There we go. And there is an MSRP 5080. Just like that. $9.99. At Walmart. It's 99 cents cheaper at Walmart. Rollbacks, you know? There's your GPU. There are, of course, other options here. But generally, you know, you're fine with this PNY OC card. You'll be good to go there. It's crazy because usually it's like, oh, it's $300 more because of the overclock. Yeah, this is MSRP and it has an overclock. There you go. Like literally 2730 megahertz boost clock is higher than this card that is $80 more. It's higher than this card that is $150 more. Yeah, this is a deal right here. Some of Samsung panels, QLED panels, QLED panels are not fun for text readability. Anton, bringing up the hard facts. 29 watching on YouTube, but only 9 likes. Like the stream. You guys, if you would like to, if you want to, hit that like button. Think of it as a video editing monitor, great color accuracy. See, I have basically a BenQ 32-inch 4K for video editing. And the color accuracy is great, this and that. It's just... And I don't make HDR videos, so it's not really an issue. Okay, here we go. For storage, it went back up to $199. Oh, no. And also, it's PCIe Gen 5, so that's not necessarily what we're looking for. So we have $250 left for storage, right? Right. Because the budget was $1,250 for a GPU and for some storage. So let's go to a 4 terabyte drive. And yeah, 2280. There we go. Right here, I'll just do this. Yeah, there it is. Inland performance. It's $299 for the 4 terabyte. Well, let's take this out of here then and see what pops up. Might be some other deals right now for something with onboard DRAM cache. Let's deal with this guy. Not fast. Not that fast. Well, actually, it's decent. But does it have... Oh, the 990 Evo Plus is $239. That's a good drive right there. Really solid onboard DRAM cache, solid numbers. Here's your drive, under $250, so we're under budget. There you go. No, this one's good. This one's solid. There you go. GPU and storage as requested. I was Pick the wrong color. Stop it. Design a robot from scratch. That's awesome. But who worked on a damn? Damn. Okay, well, that's it, human. I hope that's all you needed right there. New GPU, new storage. I will reiterate that I don't normally recommend getting another GPU in the same generation. But if you can sell your 5070 and recoup some of that cost, sell it at a fair price, by the way. Nobody's able to scalp right now. GPUs are readily available, and yours is used, so you need to give some of a discount. But, you know, you'll be on a 5080 then. Now, another option is you could wait a couple of months, because the 5070 Super, 5070 Ti Super, and 5080 Super should be announced and potentially launching in January. January. That is a couple of months from now. If you can hold out until then I can't guarantee availability that you'll be able to get them. But they also, if there are 5080s, 5070s, 5070 Ti's available, those prices also might drop. But really, yeah, you really don't need a super card. You don't need the extra VRAM, really. And the other reason that I'm okay with you moving up to a 5080 is that you do streaming and you've got better encoding on the 5080 because of the dual encoders. So although the 5070 Ti that I'm using here encodes everything just fine, and I'm running dual streaming software encoding in both of them simultaneously, it's got no issue. 9th gen NVENC is nuts. But imagine doubling that. There you go. DJ King, what's up? How have things been? Things have been okay. You've been all right. Hope you've been well. It was an industrial arm robot for factory work. Oh, like did y'all have to, like, reprimand it like Tony Stark and his arm robot? When do you think the Super GPU is coming out? The thing I just said. Yeah. It's funny, DJ, there's a delay actually, so I was probably talking about it right as you were asking. Only industrial arm robot I've seen is from MKBHD Studio Tour and old LG Monitor video. Both are pretty slow. The newer arm robot that they have now is actually quite fast in terms of camera movements. Faster than any human could ever do them. And precise to the, probably, I don't know, micrometer or whatever, if that's a measurement. I don't know measurements, whatever. Sure I do. Problem is, how long do I have to wait for those GPUs to be at MSRP and available? Well, tech enthusiast, I don't know. When it comes to pricing and availability, NVIDIA refuses to learn. That, or they're just manipulating the market. They want these things to be in demand and to be able to charge whatever they want. And if you think about it, they are going through an opportunity cost for any silicon that could be going to AI, instead going into GPUs. Now, that's usually more on the higher end cards like the 5090. But yeah. MSRP is a myth. Tanmay, I would say, for the last 8 months or so, sure. Or 8-9 months, really. Okay, so for the last couple of months, no, MSRP has been a real thing. And it has been encouraging to see that people are totally fine with going with the baseline price ones and not going with the really expensive ones. But if you had asked me during the dark times we had this year, yeah, I would have agreed with you. It's not that MSRP is a myth. It's just, it's got to cook for a while, I guess, before it's ripe. Yeah, just I asked you, start saying it too. Funny. Yeah, it is. The thing is, anyone I'm recommending to buy, like, I'm not going to tell someone not to get something based on an upcoming product. NVIDIA taught me a lot this year. Okay, I learned a lot. Thank you, Jensen. Appreciate that. And I will no longer, I mean, unless it's a couple weeks till the announcement, like the couple weeks before CES, I'm going to be like, I'm not recommending anything right now. Just wait. But 2 months before, I might tell somebody who already has a working system, hey, you already have something that's working. If you're the type of person that you will be kind of miffed if you buy $1,000 GPU and the newer version of that comes out for $100 more or whatever, but that's way better. A couple months later, if you know that would really bother you, then you should probably hold off, but I'm not going to tell you to do that. Adam, thank you for the 2x lurk. Appreciate it. If a GPU is within $20 of MSRP, it's close enough for me. Yeah, pretty much. Gotta love Jensen and that $1 trillion leather jacket of his. Yeah. I love it when Gamers Nexus does a supercut of the ridiculous things he says in keynotes. He's a special guy. So what's new with you guys? Yeah, don't wrestle with robot arms. Don't arm wrestle with robot arms. They don't feel pain. They feel no remorse. They will not stop. Servio Gaming. I was calling out for you earlier. Are you still here, or did you leave during my sort of compound rants? It looks like you're still here, according to Twitch chat. Not Twitch chat, YouTube chat. On YouTube chat, it says you're still here. So it is your turn. Okay. Gotta give it to them, though. They made the most money a company has ever profited from, like, in a matter of 3 years, right? Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, the work up to that has been 15 years in the making. DJ. 15 years in the making. Or however long ago they came out with CUDA cores. Yeah. That is the genesis of modern AI. And that was all NVIDIA. I was thinking about changing my SSD. The PC's coming with a 990 2TB Samsung Evo. Well, Will, if you don't mind having to install Windows and potentially purchase a license for it, or if you want to get cloning software for that and get an external M.2 enclosure, which makes it a little simpler, yeah, that's up to you. What if they're your robot arms and that's the only way you can arm wrestle? Well, then, Anton, you wrestle somebody else who has robot arms. Pick on someone your own size, or specifications, I should say. Okay, Servio is here. Okay. So, Servio, I do want to sort of address your build form here because, and this is not the only time I've gotten something like this, but let's get into it. So, generally, well, first off, what is the actual max budget for your build? Is it like 800? Is it 950? Is it actually $1,000? What's the max amount of money dollars, like a solid number, not a range, that you can spend comfortably on your PC or your parts list? Don't be surprised by that, Servio. The stream is 15 seconds delayed because of the bit rate that goes up to YouTube for higher quality video. Also, I like how clean your setup is. Thank you. I appreciate that, DJ. Thank you. I watch other streamers, and I notice that they always have theirs off to the side. A little bit. A lot of them do. But I am more used to like filming YouTube videos like this, looking straight at the camera. So that's kind of how I do it. But yeah, and there's other streamers that do this. Like you look at Doug, and he has his camera kind of straight on. But yeah, but thank you. I appreciate it. Anyway, Servio, if you, okay. About 500? Okay. Servio, I will say, I know there's 500 in the price range here. And just, I'm going to be real with you, okay? $500 to build a PC for gaming, streaming, content creation / video editing, and graphic design. You don't want a PC. You probably just need something like a Mac Mini. I'm going to be real with you, okay? You can get a Mac Mini for like $500-600 on the minimum specs. The problem is you can't upgrade it over time. But when it comes to content creation, video editing, and graphic design, that's going to beat the pants of a PC at that same price. You'll just need some good, fast external storage. That's pretty much it. When it comes to building a PC, a couple of years ago, you could have taken about $600 and put together a PC for gaming and streaming. You could actually do that. A lot has happened to the economy, to part prices, price creep in general, and that level of budget PC is non-existent now. In particular, when buying new parts or getting a new pre-built. Okay? You can go on Facebook Marketplace and try to start finding used parts, things like that. If you're new to PCs, if this is your first one, I don't recommend that for your first build, because you're going to have to hunt down which one of those things could be causing you issues, if there are any issues. But if you're trying to do just gaming at 1080p, I would say a comfortable place to start there is probably about $800. Is usually about where you want to start. You start adding in streaming. Well, for a streaming PC, first off, I would generally recommend an NVIDIA card, which inherently makes it cost a bit more for the GPU. So there's a little price bump on that. But secondly, you need a better motherboard. You need a motherboard with a lot of I/O, a lot of USB ports, because as you stream over time, you're going to start adding more devices. You're going to add Stream Deck and audio interface, or USB microphone, maybe USB webcam, or external capture card. Maybe, now I want to get the pedals, the Stream Deck pedals. Okay, cool. I got my wireless headset, need USB for that. Not going to go through audio interface for that, yada, yada. You just need a lot of USB stuff. You need to trust me on this. I've been streaming for many years. So that's additional, that money goes into there. You want to do video editing. That's more money on the CPU to get more cores and more money in RAM, your memory. You need more capacity memory generally. You used to be able to just get a cheap kit of 16 gigs of RAM for a solid just gaming PC. That's not quite the case anymore. Games have moved past that, and so have computers. 32 gigs will get you started if you're doing very simple editing and just CapCut or something. But if you want to get into some serious video editing, you at least need to put together a system that you can upgrade down the line and understand that it's not going to be that great at it for a while. Not until you can do those upgrades. So at that point, to do all those things, $1,000, maybe $1,200 to get you into it. Because as you can imagine, the more things you want it to do well, the higher the price goes on the PC. I wish that because I know about PCs, I could just make magic happen. But that's the reason that I am being real with you, because I understand PC pricing and speccing out for specific use cases. Dan, I need a pre-built PC. My budget is $2K. Is that how they say hi where you're from? Hi, Dan. Welcome to the stream. Sorry, everybody who comes in and just doesn't greet me and immediately demands information, I always give them a hard time. So you're not the only one. Don't worry. I need it for Warzone and possible streaming on TikTok while playing. Okay. I will play at mid settings. Nad stretch. Ow. Mid settings NAD stretch? Is that safe? I'm not. That's literally, guys. I'm not kidding. Dan is talking about NAD stretching, playing at mid settings. That sounds painful. Dan, please be careful. Don't stretch your NAD just to play some games, okay? That's dangerous. Look, I read my chat. You don't have to rush to put a bunch of information there as if you're only going to be able to chat once. You can talk here freely as much as you want. Just don't stretch your NADs. Oh my God. I'm not shaming if that's what you like. That's fine. That's okay. Mid settings, stretch res. What PC can I get best? Okay, so Dan, there is a thing that has been posting from Stream Elements. It says if you're looking for help finding the right pre-built PC, this posted right before you put that there. Or if you need a custom parts list for a DIY PC build, click the first link in the description and fill out the form. You see what I'm looking at here? You did that. That's good. So I'm just seeing that. But I'm sorry, I just saw that you filled out the form, so that's good. I actually didn't need to explain that to you. Congrats. And please be kind to your NADs. But anyways, I am helping somebody else right now, so yeah. So Servio. Let me read what you were saying. You can have 700 or more by the end of the week. At least you're looking for a parts list. The fact that you want to build it yourself, it does help to get more for your money. That's good. I'm inexperienced entirely, but I have a friend who is experienced with PC stuff local I can meet up with to help me. Good. Oh, to give you the full picture of my current situation right now, I have none of the components so far except the software, USB, and the GPU. Okay. I'm going to go back, Servio. I'm going to go back through your chats, and I'm going to see if earlier on, which is where it would have been very good to tell me, I'm going to see if you told me, hey, by the way, the budget doesn't include the GPU. I already have that. That's critical information for you so you don't lecture me for 3 hours. So let me see how early you told me that. Now, if that's the first time you told me that you already have some parts, like the GPU, it's the most expensive part of the build, by the way. If that's the first time you told me, shame. Casual gaming, but this will mostly be for digital art and upgrading to mid-end later on. So my biggest concerns are upgradability and low to mid-end gaming. You guys can slow down. I feel like if you're on mobile, I hate typing on mobile sometimes. It's a big pain. I totally feel you, okay? It's cool. I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. Braxton, I'm so sorry to hear that. Please sit down slowly, okay? Araxinus, what's up? 3060 or 3050? When? When was that? I can just look up all their chats real quick. Let's see. Channel activity. It only shows like the most recent ones. That's not helping me. Where was that? Yeah, you have a unique icon, so. I've got an idea for the build I'm going for so far. I just want to hear your opinion on my CPU selection mostly. You did say that. Will I be bottlenecked using an i5 CPU with an RTX 3060? Okay, see that right there, Servio. I think that's when I told you to fill out the form. Like in what activity? You know what I mean? Like I have a 3050 in my box under the desk. Okay. Bergie, what's up? Welcome. Bone Shock, how you doing? How can you change your icons, newbie here? What icons are we talking about? No, that's YouTube side of things. It's in YouTube, Bone Shock. You can't do that in Twitch. Unless you have certain icons, then you can sort of customize your appearance in chat, yes, as you sort of collect those. Like, for instance, Braxton there has the current Hype Train conductor, 19-month subscriber, and the VIP one, right? So that's you can change some of those a little bit. But I'm talking about your icon, like your little avatar on the YouTube side. Okay, gaming mostly. I'll only really be playing Pug. Okay, all right. PUBG, is that what you're trying to say? I see PU Gand. Did you mean to say? Y'all slow down with the typing. This is all I have. I can't read your mind. All I've got is what you type. Slow down. It's okay. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. Take the time to type. All I can see of you. I know you exist, and where you are, you can hear yourself if you speak. You can see yourself in mirrors, and perhaps you can smell yourself. You know, take care of that hygiene, right? Okay, but I only see text. It has to be I gotta be able to understand what you're saying. So slow down, take your time. Especially if it's your turn. I'm here to help you, and it makes it harder if I can't really understand what you're saying. And that's not just for you, Servio. It's for everybody. That whoever has, I'm sure that Dan did not mean to say, and they said they meant and, but instead they were nad stretching, right? So weird, but okay. So I'm just saying, take your time. You don't have to rush. It's okay. So going back to your message, you're going to play PUBG and then use a PC for art. For now, we'll upgrade it for further gaming in the future is the plan. Okay. All right, Dan, calling someone a scumbag for no reason. That is a ban. Later. I don't care if you call me an unk. I don't find that personally offensive. Call me whatever. You call other viewers scumbags for no reason, and you're waiting for free help? Get the hell out of my stream. Stay away from the community and go and reevaluate yourself. Because you're pointing fingers that should probably be pointed right back at yourself. Don't you ever badmouth other viewers here. Everyone here is worthy of my time and our respect, okay? That's straight up. I mean, other than you. Go ahead and get out. Foreman Filaments 3D. Hey, man, could you help me? I certainly could. I'm currently helping someone who filled out the form here. So depending on what you're trying to do, if it's like to get a PC or a parts list or something like that, yeah. But I am helping somebody out right now. Yeah, no, they can. Actually, the funny thing is, I believe they can see the stream and say whatever they want, and they might even see it in chat, but none of us ever will. They are now non-existent. Dan is not, and it's not a Meridan, by the way. A Meridan is a VIP and will always be. But no, Dan, that Dan, the projecting one who's like, I'm a scumbag, so everybody else is. They don't exist anymore. Okay. Hi, Dan. It's a different Dan. A different Dan came and went, and they don't matter anymore. So sorry, I don't like anybody else talking down to or name calling other chatters for if you've been here for a while and you know that other person and y'all have a back and forth, sure. If you're new here, act like you're new here, and be polite. Okay, so just Krita for now, but maybe Procreate or Photoshop in the future. So you're talking about the software you're going to be using, right? I might have asked that. Okay, Tanmay did, because that was my next question before I got distracted. Okay, so one thing is this. If anything that you're working with art-wise is layer-based, you're not going to want to minimize your RAM. Your RAM capacity is going to get pretty important. But let's see. I mean, let's see what we can do. If you already have a GPU, regardless of whether it's powerful or not, or the right one for you, you have one. So we can maybe look at, you said you'd have $700 later this week. That would be your budget. So that's what we're going to call it. Okay. Oh, come on. I need my symbol here. Come on. Don't do that to me. Okay. Let's see. So there's a lot we got to do here to make this work. So we're going to try builder and start new. Let's see what we got. Okay. So what was your CPU choice that you mentioned earlier? You mentioned a CPU choice. And that is, so there is some talk about using a service. One that I would recommend that I have used before is Shadow PC. I even have a whole video explaining on how when my PC wasn't very powerful and I wanted to game and stream at the same time, I would use my PC for streaming and I would have Shadow PC running and it would just look like it's the same PC. And I would install all my games in Shadow PC. I paid a certain amount per month. And it was at the time like having a 2080 for a GPU, which I had an RX 580. This was a while back when Shadow was still a fairly new thing. And it was awesome. It was really cool. So a 5800X. Now, you did talk about upgrading your PC. So if we can, I'd rather put you on a platform that is upgradable. Socket AM4 Socket AM4 is a, well, it's still shambling about. AMD still now and then drops a CPU for it randomly, but it's overall an end of life platform. So I'm not the only Dan in the world. My worldview is now shattered. Well, you're one of the better ones, I'll tell you that. So let's see if we go with a 7000 series Ryzen CPU. Well, let's see. Let's go to socket, right? AM5. And we're going to look for the lowest priced option possible. 8500G is only $8 less than a 7600X. I would go 7600X. It's still a bit much for what we're trying to do. Well, no, actually, no, it's not. There's no GPU needed. We're good. Okay. Let's cook a little bit. You submitted form? Awesome. Happy to hear it. I was told I may want to switch to an AM5 motherboard, so that's a plan potentially. Well, if you buy a 5800X, it ain't going to fit in that motherboard. You need to do it from right at the beginning. Upgrading your motherboard is a big old pain in the butt. I'll tell you that. No, not the cooler. What am I doing? Motherboard. AM5. We'll try to do ATX, yeah. And we'll go with price here. PG Lightning is 129. B650 Eagle AX. 3 M.2 sockets on there. Decent power delivery, it looks like. And VRM cooling. Let's see what the I/O is like. See, you would look at this and say, oh, that's a good amount of USB ports. They are all USB 2.0 except for 2. And, of course, the Type-C. So if it's like, oh, if you spend $10 more, you get a lot faster ports, then we do that. If that's not the case, then okay. Okay, no pictures, so I got to go look it up real quick. Look at that. And what's the price difference? It is literally $1 more. No, it's the same price. It is the same price. Look at that. That's what I'm freaking talking about. Look at that. Now, why is this important? Oh, shut up. Okay. Why is this important? Because of this word right here. Streaming. That is a lot better. Every issue you can name, damn near. Most notably, I have terrible performance in general, huge frame rate drops, literal crashes upon attempts to use multiple windows at the same time. Oh wow, yeah. Well, I think this is doable. This is doable. 150 for that. Plus, let me see. We're gonna have 3 M.2 drives here. You do have. There we go. You do have some expandability here as well with PCIe slots, but we're going to check on the lanes for that. Let's check on the specifications real quick. But that's looking good so far. Front panel, USB Type-C, heck yes. That's unfortunate, but not much you can do about it. X2 and X1. So we're going to treat these basically like they're both X1. But I'm going to show you something real quick, okay? Y'all just stay right over here. I'll be right back. Well, I guess I moved it. Okay. Well, don't worry about it, Servio. I'm going to send you this list that I'm making right now. So essentially, what I'm going to talk... God, I got to say, the regulars here, bless y'all. Y'all are so patient. Because how many times have you heard me talk about these? So there's a lot of I.O. here. But because you can't put a solid internal capture card in this motherboard, you might end up needing more. And if you ever do, something like this with more USB ports can be helpful. There are other kinds of PCIe cards. It's just this motherboard's a little limited there. That's going to be our one caveat. Just understand that. So there's other stuff that you can do to add to it. You just need to understand, like if you're looking at something like this, it needs to say that it's PCIe X1. This one is X4. It's wider right here on the connector part. But yeah, you couldn't use this one, but there's a version like this. It's a little bit slower, but still additional USB can be super helpful because you're not going to really necessarily be able to use a camera like this one unless you have an external capture card and you need a pretty fast connection for that. But thankfully, this motherboard has plenty of connections in it. It's got plenty of USB ports that are, and some of them are quite fast. So you'll be able to use external capture card on this, and this one right here, of course, the Type-C. But also, if you're looking at just the Camlink 4K from Elgato, that is USB 3.0, and you have 4 of those here. These 2 that have the black plastic in there, that's where your mouse and keyboard plug into. This is a great motherboard for what you're doing. Wi-Fi 6E, 2.5 gig Ethernet, keep up with most of your modern needs. If you're going to be doing streaming, you are going to want to be on Ethernet, by the way, if possible. And for like $18, you can go on Amazon and get a 100-foot long Cat 6 cable to connect to your router, even if it's in the next room. And some of those even come with ways to attach it to the wall so you're not tripping over it all the time. Anyways, cool. What's up, Zeno? How's it going? Is Battlefield... What's up, All Factors 5? What's up? 8 a.m. Pacific time, Battlefield 6 goes live. From my experience, MSI motherboard experience felt pretty great. I know it's a bit nicer, but the software can't be too different. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, this is MSI. This is, if that's what you mean. So we'll go with that. 150. 2 major components done right there. Okay. The CPU that I went with, though, was the 7600X. Is it going to be awesome right away? Not necessarily. Actually, I'm going to check something. I want to see how much the 7700X is. It is nearly $100 more for those extra 2 cores and 4 threads. I don't know if that's worth it at this budget, but here's the thing, Servio. But yes, Servio, that's how it works. That's what I do. You get the link to the list. Yes. Socket AM5 is going to be supported for years. The previous one you mentioned, 5800X, was a great CPU, but that socket is not going to be supported anymore. And it you know, they were supposed to stop support for that a couple of years ago. They just kept now and then releasing surprise CPUs to add onto the list. But anyways, memory, we're going to look at 32 gigs of DDR5 because you do have to go DDR5 with this. Almost the right RAM was automatic. It almost automatically had the right RAM. Now, once you get really serious about video editing, you're going to want to take out this kit, set it aside, and upgrade to like a 64 gig kit of RAM, okay? But right now, just getting started in video editing stuff, content creation, 32 will take you pretty far for a while until you start to get to really like high-end 4K footage and all of that, and it takes up more RAM space to scrub through it and all that. So, yeah. You'll be fine with this for a while. It also needs to fit within the budget. But we are still going to get the optimal RAM for that CPU. Because you don't want to, like, if you're going to upgrade your CPU to another 7000 series or 9000 series CPU, or maybe I guess, I don't know if they're going to call it 11000 series Ryzen, you're going to want to already have the right RAM for that. I really need to try out some of these really cheap ones and see how stable they are and how good they are. I just don't know. Because like that is like $34 less than the cheapest G-Skill kit. But I just don't know. Wait, there's this white T-Create Expert. Why is it cheaper than in black? It's the same specs. What color did you want for your build? You wanted it to be in black? Okay, well, maybe you get white RAM. I don't know. It's like 25 bucks less. I don't know what's up with that. It's like $20 less. Anyways. For at the moment, at least one more gen for AM5, maybe two more gens. The Xeno, look at the, remember, AMD stated support for AM4 ended in 2020. That doesn't, now when I say that this socket is going to be supported for years, I'm not saying they're not going to come out with a new one in 2027 when they said, we're going to support AM5 until 2027 and beyond. I'm saying that they'll still be coming out with new CPUs for it. Will it be the top of the line CPU once a new socket comes out? No, that socket's going to get it. But this is still going to be upgradable for quite a while. Zintech, in my opinion, for me that is, I don't really see the point of getting anything lower than AMD 9900X3D with what I want to do with my PC. And the fact that I am coming from an i7 1200KF, that's not a thing, 12700KF, is that what you mean? Has made me want to test the 9900X3D and push it to its limits. You've heard me rant about that specific CPU, right? Like why I think it's suboptimal. Like if you're going that high end and you need the extra cores, just go 9950X3D. When you're not gaming, you know, it's going to perform better. And when you are gaming, it's also going to perform better, but so with a 9800X3D. In terms of games that actually can utilize multiple cores. 9900X3D costs more than a 9800X3D and gets not as good gaming performance. It doesn't perform as well in games because it becomes a 9600X3D. Even though that doesn't exist, it becomes a 6-core CPU when you turn on a game. But yeah, core parking makes it a 6-core. That is indeed correct. Yeah, well, Survey, you can't do DDR4 with the newer socket. They don't allow for it. Okay, well, we'll go with the G-Skill Flare X and scale down to a different kit, a more budget-oriented kit if we need to in this budget. Storage. We're gonna start you with a 1 terabyte drive. An NV3, 1 terabyte. Is it DRAMless? Yeah. Wait, hold up. A 1 terabyte 990 Evo Plus with onboard DRAM cache is like nearly this. It's $7 more. Yeah, that's what we should be looking for. There we go. So it's a solid 1 terabyte drive. That's good. All right, Steve, have a good one. Don't need to choose a video card. Case. Wait, what did you say about RGB? You don't want RGB. Okay. It's funny because it's almost gotten to the point where it's more expensive to go non-RGB. I think this case doesn't come with all the fans. That's disappointing because the price is great. I believe it doesn't come with front intake fans. Yep, no front intake fans. So where it looks like it saves you money, it actually doesn't necessarily. So we go here. We're going to go to ATX because we have a full ATX power supply. We want it to be able to support a 360 millimeter, right? It doesn't need to right away, but we want it to have the capability. We want it to be in black because that's what you chose. Let's see. Is there a thing to select something with included fans? Apparently not, unless I just skipped past it because I was just really going through pretty fast. Yeah, okay. Let's just go here and look for the budget options. Yo, what? This G370A is $47.98. What's the deal? $47.98 and a $10 with a $10 mail-in rebate. Also found new games I like. Nice. They make me happy. Mostly satisfactory. Hey, once you find that one that scratches the itch, you're good. Yeah. You'll have a great night or day for some of you. All right, Bone Shock, have a good one. WX Fan, what's up? I was told I'm awesome because the notification from your channel said so. I mean, it speaks with authority. You know what I mean? That's what matters. Anton says Montec. I'm saying Fantex. If this thing includes three RGB fans, which, by the way, Servio, if you don't want RGB, that's fine. Just turn off the RGB or don't plug in the RGB part of the wiring of the cables there. I'm just making sure this comes with those 3 fans because that's bananas if that's the case. Yeah, it looks like it does. For $47, a Fantex case. All right. Double check SSD once. Last I checked, Evo and Evo Plus use HMB. I don't think so, but I'll check. Sure. But I think we found our case. Sonic, what's up? Welcome. Looks like a solid. What's up, Alucard? How's it going? Yeah, it certainly looks that way. They're the only cases I know. Anton, there's a lot of cases out there. Montec, though, is they are doing great. Are those fans proprietary, though? At this price, maybe. I don't know. Fantex is usually generally good about that, where if it's proprietary connectors, they'll at least have breakouts or some kind of adapter. They know their stuff. There's probably just a clearance on this case. Like, RGB is no problem. Hell, the case is cheaper than the one I was looking at. Yeah, no, we found a deal. Now, the deal might not last long. When you see a price like that, you pick it up. You know, you get it. Oh, what? That's a helpful picture. Thank you. That's not the one I wanted. I do want to make sure they're PWM. Okay, and it's ARGB. They say DRGB, but it's adjustable. Okay, it doesn't really say. And it fits a 360 millimeter AIO radiator in the top. I'm happy with this. And they're M25s, a la carte. They're M25s. Those are really good fans. Those are genuinely good fans from Fantex. Yeah, it just needs to be hooked up to your 3-pin ARGB, 5-volt ARGB, and then you're good to go. There you go. Sick. So they're not just like cheap PWM fans. They're full-on M25s. That's awesome. I feel like just buying one of these just because it's that cheap. That's crazy. So far, we're at 566. We are at 566. I was going to use a Thermaltake Vera H21. I don't know the H21, but I do like Thermaltake cases. But yeah. So we still need a power supply and a CPU cooler. And you might want to get at least one more fan to put in the back, but let's do the power supply first. Now, a 3050, what is it? Or was it, what did you say the GPU was? You have a 3050, right? In the box to get you started. Let me see, where did you say that? RTX 3050, yeah, okay. Tech enthusiast, don't buy the last one. I'm recommending this thing. What's the budget for this build? $700, not including the GPU that they already have. And it needs to be upgradable because we're trying to do a lot with it. One of my favorite deals right now in power supplies. This is overkill for right now, but if eventually you move up to like, I don't know, a 6070 Ti or something like that, okay, when those come out, I don't know. You're going to want extra wattage in your power supply, and if it doesn't cost an insane amount and it's good quality, who's going to argue about that? So, I'm going to show y'all right here, this Montech Century 2. Check this thing out. 8490. 8490. It is ATX3, has 12V 2x6 connector, okay? You're not going to need it for that 3050, but it has a 12V 2x6 connector, the 12 plus 4 pin, so that you can connect to a more, you know, the one that everybody really likes, okay? So but wait, if it's $85 for 850 watts, is it any good? Well, let's find out. I wouldn't know myself off the top of my head, so I rely on those who already obsessed over it. So we're going to go to the main list. Here we go, and search for Century. And that is the Montech Century ATX 3.1 850 watt is an A- rating for $85. Nearly the highest rating you can get. That's bananas. It is so good. And 850 watts, way more than you need for a 3050, but about what I would recommend for like a 5070 Ti. And as a matter of fact, that's 100 watts over what NVIDIA recommends for the 5070 Ti, but I like to give a little extra cushion room. I'm just saying, this thing is an insane deal, and it fits within the budget. So we add it to the parts list, and there's not a discrepancy between the price on Newegg or Amazon, so you know it's not just an on-sale kind of price that ends in 3 hours or whatever. That's just the price of it. Montech be cooking. Telling you. So now we have $49 for a CPU cooler. That should be enough. If we're going to go with something like, I don't know, Thermalright Peerless Assassin 120 SE. Heck, you could actually almost do a 360 millimeter AIO if you go with a Thermalright one. You don't need that for a 7600X, to be clear. You can just go with an air cooler, but if you stretch to where you're, let's see, like, I don't know, let me look up the V6 of that. Okay, the Thermalright Aqua Elite V6 actually is cheaper. That's the latest version. Okay. Go with that, and we're at $702.96. We are $2.96 over budget. And you now have all 3 front fans, and now you have a 360 millimeter AIO so that you don't have to change your cooler when you upgrade your CPU. I was actually going to get the Thermalright Assassin. Well, this is very close to that price, but it's a full-on, all-in-one liquid cooler, which handles heat spikes better, can be quieter sometimes, depending on your fan curve. And also, but that's the main thing for me is with air coolers, they can be awesome, but it doesn't really cushion heat spikes quite as well as something like that with the thermal capacity of a bunch of liquid. Can you link that PSU for me, please? All right, sure. I am biased towards air cooler. Tanmay, at least you can admit to yourself that it is a bias. I'm not biased towards AIOs. I look at it as there are many benefits to AIOs, and I deal with SIs. I look at what the kind of business that SIs do all the time, right? And they're so much safer for shipping than a big air cooler literally hanging off the motherboard. All the weight of that cooler hanging off the motherboard in shipping. And instead, with an AIO, most of the weight of the cooler is mounted to the chassis. It is so much safer for shipping. So to me, there's kind of no option. No, there's no alternative for SIs. They should all kind of be doing AIOs unless it's a very, very budget build. And if that's the case, and if you're using a CPU cooler that's an air cooler, you better cushion that thing well. Perfect. I'll be able to afford that well before tax, I think. At least on pretty much all of these, shipping is free except for the case. But that's Newegg for you, I guess. It's how they're making some of their money back, I suppose. I don't know. That is a ridiculous deal on that case. But okay, let me give you the link to the list after I save it. Now, this doesn't have a Windows license on it, but there are OEM licenses that you can get. Like my YouTube sponsor VIP CDK deals. If you look at some of my previous YouTube videos, you'll see links in the description and the discount code of Break25. So you can basically get Windows 11 Home OEM license for like $22. And I use those all the time. I'm using it on this PC. Ain't no watermark there. Let's see. Save as. Here we go. There we go. Do that. Edit and link. Tanmay, prices are not including tax. That is incorrect. In the US, we do not include tax. So I don't know what you're talking about. What's up? It's K today. How's it going? Welcome. Yeah, don't listen to Tanmay. It doesn't. Taxes are not included in the price. So you are correct about saying that before tax, because it is before tax. But at least the shipping on most of the items is free. Lol, the Montec PSU on Amazon is sold by Newegg. What? That's crazy. Huh? Inception? Good job, Raythorn. Thank you. Well, once you said that the GPU was already there, Servio, it became a lot more plausible. And I don't intend to cast doubt so much. It's just I do try to be realistic when it comes to things like this. This is a fully upgradable system. Socket AM5, a power supply with 850 watts that is very well reviewed and seemingly very reliable with the modern connector, whether you like it or not. A lot of things like that. So I think you're really... Plus, lots of USB ports for setting up a nice streaming setup. So, yeah. I think we did good work, chat. Good teamwork. Okay, so but Servio, let us know how that turns out. Show us the final build in the Rigs channel on the Discord. We want to see how it turns out. It's okay, Tanmay. It's all right. Not tax included. Well, Matt, no problem. I mean, that's the thing, Servio, is if you saw on the form, when you give me your budget, it's supposed to be not including tax anyway. So to me, I'm not feeling bad about that. That's how that's supposed to work. Taxes, I'm not going to be sitting here calculating taxes for different states or perhaps different areas where you might have to worry about that. I thought online prices were including tax. In like the UK, I think they include that. But here taxes are not included because it can, sometimes you have state tax and things like that. Sales taxes can vary per state, so they just, why bother? I did send you the link. Yes, I did earlier. I'll do it again. There you go. It's right. Oh, the link for the Discord is in the description. Yes, it is in the description. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Trevor S. This says YouTube. Trevor S. Are you still here? Are you in chat still? Or did you sit through all of that patiently? It says you are. Some sales taxes are different by county, not just state. Yep. All right, Trevor S. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. So let me read what you said here. Oh, that didn't mean to just do that. I meant to do the whole thing. Problem solved. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say a hearty no to Build Redux there. I do not recommend them. I cannot recommend them. They are on the naughty list for lying and also for making their website and company arguably or just worse. Just worse. And their PCs just worse than they've ever been. With that case that they put almost every PC in. Holy jeez. It is such an awful case in terms of airflow. Holy crap, it's really bad. So no, don't recommend Build Redux, unfortunately. Sorry to burst your bubble. It's also a little bit confusing because you said yes to Micro Center, but you also put Build Redux. To be clear, what I mean by that is in the Micro Center question, it says, do you live near a Micro Center location? And your options are yes, or yes, but I don't want to get my PC there, or no. And you chose yes. So that usually means you do want to get your PC built there or pick up a pre-built there or something like that. But then you put Build Redux. So I'm not sure. Do you want just a pre-built from an SI that I recommend, or do you want to go through Micro Center? To be clear, if you do get your PC built for you from a custom parts list at Micro Center, there's an additional $250 fee that will be part of that transaction. Their same day build fee. There's pretty much no faster way to get a custom PC than through Micro Center if you live near one. You can go buy something that's already pre-built and in the box like at Best Buy or Micro Center, and that's really fast. But to get a custom one, their same-day build service is crazy, and that's why it costs $250. Now, if you want to, though, if you just want to get the best price to performance PC you can for, I guess, is your actual maximum budget $1,800, or is it like $2,000? What's your actual maximum number of dollars that you're able to comfortably spend on your PC? What would that be? Is that $1,800, $1,900, $2,000? What are we looking at? Okay, 2,300 is max. Okay. All right. I feel like he went through the form a little rushed. Did not need to do that, but I will point out that there is an option here that is 2,000 to 2,500. That would have put you in the correct bracket here in my sort of market research that I do based off of these. But all right, that's cool. That's right. All right, that's fine. 2,300, sure. I'll change that up. You see here, bam, boom, zippity bop. Okay. All right. Gaming, pro gaming, esports, 1440p. Okay. Not too much RGB. You want price or performance, and you don't care about upgrading your CPU over time. That's fine. For this use case, though, you're probably still going to get one that is upgradable, so you would have the option. Chris, what do you mean he's in YouTube chat? What do you mean? I think Chris was behind on the stream. So, yeah, if you're behind and you hear me like calling out for Trevor S and you see them typing in chat, you're probably like, is he stupid or something? He's right. The guy's right there. No, I know. I'm talking to him, but you're behind on the stream. Probably, Chris. There you go. But anyway, appreciate help. I was concerned for performance with the original build I was aiming for. Yeah. Also, Servio, much more upgradable here. So that's like the most important thing. Any budget you've got can be a valid budget. Like that's just what that is. No matter what you want to do with your PC. As long as you go into it understanding, hey, it's going to be a little lacking in certain performance right now, but this thing has all the potential to be upgraded down the line. So we got you. Happy to help. Okay. Before I do a Micro Center build, let me do the thing real quick. Close these. That's fine. See what's going on over here. Buildtober. Okay, real quick. Trevor, I'm going to look at SkyTech first, okay? But I want to mention something. When this pops up, I hate these kind of pop-ups, but guess what? For PCs that are over $1,400, you can put your email in and get a $50 off coupon that stacks with my discount code. So don't just close this. Actually put your email in, because if you end up buying a PC from them, you're going to give them your email anyway. So just keep that in mind if that comes up for you. But anyways, let's see what's here. Now, not I meant. I'm about to get paid. I've already got 530 right now. About to get over 200. So I should be able to afford the build. But it should all go to plan. I should get paid tomorrow as discussed. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, excited for you. Peckish, what's up? Welcome. Yeah, so real quick, I came right over here, and I have been whenever I see pre-built and price to performance, because for a little while now, I have been scouring others. It's just been impossible to find anybody beating SkyTech on price to performance. And I'm talking about even considering the largest SI in North America, iBuyPower. SkyTech is beating them too, but SkyTech is big. They're a big company at this point. They do a lot of volume. I'm just saying, they're beating the biggest, is what I'm saying. So that's crazy and something you can take advantage of. Like, damn, look at this. 7800X3D, 5070 Ti, 16 gig, 2 terabyte Gen 4, $17.99. Crazy. All right, but like I said, tune in. Should ever require your tech advice? Have a good night. Hey, tune in even if you don't need tech advice. I like to think it's a pretty chill place to hang out. I hope to see you here again. But you got it. I'm happy to hear that. 7600X is fast as 5800X and runs cooler. Yep. Or could switch to the 7600 non-X. It actually, Tanmay, costs more, believe it or not. The 7600 non-X was more expensive. So I just ignored it. I was like, nope, no reason to. There's budget for a cooler, so might as well. Johnny Boy just says, just go all out and build 4090, 9800X3D, X870E, Tai Chi. Okay, Johnny Boy, I got news for you. There is an entire community going insane right now. The community of 9800X3D owners, specifically because of ASRock motherboards like that Tai Chi blowing up those CPUs. So coming in with terrible advice right off the rip. Also, why a 4090? Why would you say that? It's a 3.5-year-old GPU now, 3-year-old GPU now. Why would you say that? No, Tanmay, I'm talking about Johnny Boy. I said Johnny Boy is coming in with terrible advice. Not you, Tanmay. You generally have very good advice. Yeah, just get a 9800X3D. Spend $470 on a CPU and then blow it up because you chose an ASRock motherboard. Okay, good advice, bud. Good job. Welcome to the stream. I hope you enjoy your time here. Sorry if I was a little bit right in your face with that, but it's just mine runs fine. All right, I'm gonna knock on wood and cross my fingers, and I hope that continues for you. Maybe don't run like PBO. And also take a gander at the Gamers Nexus video on the topic, because you'll want to know what potential situation you might run into. What color did you want for your PC? Because a lot of these are not black PCs. Okay. I don't know why it is, and I actually appreciate this about Skytech. Like, Skytech is... Oh, damn. Actually, these are even $100 off. Okay. All right. But that's a 5070 with a 9000X3D? No. Why is that upside down? Anyways, no. We're going to... Let's see here. Wait, that's... Oh, it's wrong. It's not sorted the way I usually do. That's my bad. Ignore that PC. Here we go. I thought this for a second. I just glanced at this. I thought it said Skytech happened. I don't know what that means, but it's intimidating. Okay. I don't know, guys. Skytech happened. You know what I mean? What's up, Nakey Jakey? How's it going? That has never worked for me, and I don't know why. Alucard, hate how my PC just crashed when we started. I hate that too, on your behalf, Alucard. Lamau, bro, my setup runs just fine. I've seen it. Well, the thing is, if you know that yours is running fine, but there is a known issue that other people are having, just be thankful that yours is running fine, but maybe don't suggest other people roll the dice as well. That's called bad advice. If you know there's a known issue, like just saying you've seen the video, that doesn't clear your name, bud. You got lucky. That's great. Not everybody will. So don't give out that advice if you know there's a known issue that is like rampant in amongst owners of the same hardware that you have. That's irresponsible and potentially harmful to other people. I was mostly joking around before, but like if you're defending your stance on that, I'll be serious about it. Don't do that. I'm happy for you that you got lucky. But if you know it's a problem, don't be giving that advice out. Don't be telling everybody, you'll get lucky just like me. That you don't know that. What's all these 9900X3Ds? And yeah, it's, I don't know what it is, but there's just a lot of people still mostly come in here saying, I want a PC in a black case. And a lot of these Skytech builds are in not that. Now, I personally appreciate the aesthetics. I like it. But it makes, you know, zeroing in on one a little difficult. I'm looking for a particular balance of components here. Let me ask you this. Trevor, you're still with me, right? Okay. Trevor, what are the main games you want to play on PC? I don't like how these photos look fake. I'm going to tell you, Peckish, here's the reason they're not fake. If someone were making a fake photo, they would have put a full ATX motherboard in here. Now, this is a real picture of a real system. It's just that they take very high quality pictures, and then they just use Photoshop to delete the background. Like, hey, there you go. I lost all my settings just to show you that. I hope you appreciate it. So it's these two. White cases sell for sure. Yeah, it's just that when I have people coming in and choosing black for their PC, I'm like, I should try to get them something like that. But yeah. So okay, let's take a second here. Your purpose here is for gaming, pro gaming / esports, 1440p. Now, to be fair, most people engaging in pro gaming, esports type activities will shoot for 1080p. But your budget does allow for 1440p is more accessible, and you can get some pretty good frame rates now. And there are not that expensive monitors out there where you can get 1440p, 240 hertz, stuff like that, right? Pretty valid for a setup for doing some competitive gaming, if your PC can run it. So, 9800X3D, RTX 5080. And as for the looks, you pick your poison. You go for the white build, or go for this Azure blue build as the Azure 2. I think this case looks dope. Your mileage may vary. And then, thankfully, because I raised the budget a slight bit more, here is one in black with a temperature readout too. Looks like it's for a CPU. Now, this says $24.99. I know. And you said your budget was $2,300. I'm aware. There's a couple things you need to know. You're going to get over $100 off, and then your shipping will be free. So if that's okay, like I can look at what this will come out to real quick. Let me add it to cart. I know I have something in the cart already. I'll delete that. Okay. Add to cart. Just give me a sec. And you can tell me whether this is acceptable or not, or if I need to bring it down just a little bit. But it's just a little bit of a mess just underneath this in budget. I'll explain why in a second. Proceed to checkout. So we're going to put in my code, which is SWARM. And before anyone's like, whoa, 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 of course he's recommending this. He's got a discount code there. I have like a dozen different SIs I have discount codes with. I explained earlier, Skytech has just been killing it for a while. I have scoured other SIs to see if they're, when you're talking about price to performance, it's Skytech right now. They're just very aggressive right now with their pricing. And I haven't seen anybody beat them. So those things combined, I have multiple codes, so you have options when I'm helping you out. But also, this is just the best option in price to performance. It makes it pretty easy to recommend. So with this, you get $75 off, plus you're going to get $50 off. That makes this $23.75 with free shipping. Anything in Intel. I mean, yeah, I can look at that. But if you're doing only gaming and you're looking for pro gaming esports, that's when I could recommend a 9800X 3D. And did you say what? COD, Call of Duty. Okay, yeah. Marvel Rivals, Battlefield, Valorant. Okay. Give me just a second. I'm checking something. What the hell is wrong with these people? Of course, it doesn't have the one I'm looking for. Okay. 1 second. Am I crazy or something? What the hell? Okay. Okay, maybe this will have it. Oh, cool. Yeah, don't put chapters or anything. I'm looking up some of these videos that compare GPUs in different games. And it seems like they care about Call of Duty about as much as I do. Because nobody has it in these freaking videos. Who cares about Alan Wake 2? Somebody probably. Wow, this is really annoying. There's Battlefield 6. That's hardware unboxed. Okay, Black Ops. Okay, that's a short. Okay, let's see. This one mentions called. I'm sorry, guys, and you're not seeing what I'm seeing. I know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well. Right, tech enthusiasts. I'm not saying who cares about the game in general. I mean, in terms of trying to test various GPUs against each other. So the list of games that you said was Call of Duty, Marvel Rivals, Battlefield, and Valorant. Okay. These people are so bad, and they just can't manage to put chapters in their videos. It's all about, yeah, there's numbers here, but here's my Amazon links. And I get that. Get the bag, you know, pay your bills. Right? But, like, how am I supposed to find the relevant... See if you even have the relevant games in here. Here, I'll at least bring it over here so y'all can see it, too. I'm trying to see if it has more of the games that are on your list. Marvel Rivals, Battlefield, and Valorant. Okay. Like, okay, it's Ghost of Tsushima. Okay, cool. So I can scan this way. That's Kingdom Come 2, God of War, Stalker 2, Space Marine, Jedi Survivor, Forza Horizon, Cyberpunk. So it's okay, 9070 XT, 5080. This is 1440p. The resolution I'm talking about, 5080 wins. Alan Wake 2. Dead Space. What is that? What is this game? What is that? Starfield? That's really important to know. Good. I mean, Red Dead 2 for AAA is a good test. 5080 wins it. Okay. By not a lot, but it does. Native ray tracing off. That makes sense why these are so close. RT is off. But if you're gaming competitively, you turn off ray tracing. Doom Eternal, 1440p. Okay. It stacks up pretty much how I expect it to. No 5070 Ti is unfortunate. Okay. And for Call of Duty, which was in the beginning, with RT off. Oh, this is Black Ops 6. The 9070 XT actually ekes it out in front of the 5080, which I have been told, and I have been like, okay, sure, I'm sure it wins a little bit in that. But in every other game, the 5080 wins. It might change a little bit at 1080p. I understand that, but that's not the resolution we're looking at here. I was looking at 1440p. The 5080 wins out in every other game. And it's close because ray tracing is off. Even though 9000 series Radeon cards have better ray tracing than before, NVIDIA is still ahead. So, just looking at it objectively, I have my qualms with NVIDIA, and I want AMD Radeon cards to do better. I want them to do well. Like, if you feel like this is important to you and you're going to have RT off, which is fair and just fine, we're looking at the right CPU here, so good. If you're going to turn off your ray tracing, which you should competitively, you'll squeeze out a little bit more performance with a 9070 XT for less money. So, because you're not doing anything content creation, streaming, none of that other stuff, just gaming, I'm actually going to go here and I'm going to look at the 9070 XT systems with the 9800X 3D. Alucard, I just said y'all have told me that, and you followed that up with a very logical, hey, COD is better with the Radeon cards. That's what I just said. Y'all tell me. Why is the response to tell me further? I'm already pulled over. I can't pull over any further. Like, I know. I just said y'all let me know that. I still, trust but verify, right? I wanted to see it for myself. So then we're going to go here. We're going to do 9800X 3D and 9070 XT and find a PC in black. And look at that, $18.99. Literally like $500 cheaper. This one comes with a free monitor. It's not in black though, but it comes with a free monitor. And it's $100 more. Stupid. High to low. High to low. Thank you. Okay, so only one of these is in black. Don't ask me why. I respect it. I like it. But this right here is dope as hell. Look at this. White King 95. Free monitor. And it's $19.99 before the double discount of the $50 off plus my code. 32 gigs DDR5 6000. Thank you very much. 2 terabyte Gen 4 NVMe drive. Yup. 1000 watt 80 plus gold power supply. I know it's not a black case, but guess what, Trevor, I'm recommending this one. Wait, what? Hold up. I just want to explore my options just in case I want to stream ever. Okay, I know you followed that up by saying, Trevor, that you don't know PCs. I feel like you do know how to fill out a form, though. And you never said streaming on here. You choose that. Even if you're just maybe mildly just a little bit interested in it, you can tell me later I might not be interested. I work off of this. So just add in a USB card if you need it. That can help give you more I/O. I don't know what motherboard's coming in this thing. It's an insane deal already. But this is the one I'm going to recommend. But yeah. Just left Skytech's site. OMG. But yeah. It's crazy right now. Also, I'm pretty sure the AMD cards are really like being undervolted. I'm pretty sure no. I saw 97 XT was like 25% behind the 5080 in some games, but came close to like 15%. Okay. We're going right back to this. They had something helpful at the end. Max power draw. They're both in the 300 watts. The 5080 does use more. But to be clear, the 9070 is no slouch in power draw. We don't want that. That's like, let's not mince words. It is a bit of a power hungry card, to be sure. Though the 5080, of course, is the more power hungry one. They both draw a lot of power. Anyways, I know this is not a black case, but what do you think about this setup right here with the free monitor? I don't know anything about the monitor, actually. What's the deal with the monitor? What is it? Is it going to say? It's not going to tell us what the monitor is. But you know what? Free monitor. Why not? I wouldn't probably make it your primary, but, you know, probably decent for starting out. You cool with this? Or do you want me to choose, link you the black one instead? I know, but doesn't AMD have a history of getting more performance when being undervolted? Undervolting is not a brand-specific method, Peckish. It's CPUs and GPUs can both get performance benefits from undervolting. It's not AMD-branded process. It's not an AMD-branded concept. Anything, like if you know how to undervolt, you can squeeze out performance from different... It's like overclocking, but like not. It's just messing with your stuff. You get whatever. An article on it will tell you better than I could sum it up. But no, undervolting is not an AMD thing. It is a hardware thing in general. Seems cool. Do you have a little time to look at an Intel version, or is AMD preferred? For Call of Duty, yeah, AMD is preferred. And for esports type of pro gaming / esports setups, yeah, AMD is preferred. You're going to get better gaming performance 100%. Does that mean that Intel sucks for gaming? No, it doesn't. But which one is better? It's not preferred. It's just higher performance. It is better performance. I won't mince words on that. But particularly in Call of Duty, apparently. Call of Duty leans heavily towards AMD. And I don't think that there's a lot of Intel stuff in your, like, I'd say maybe 265K, 5080. It's $3,000, so it's a little bit more. And 285K is going to be higher than that. Yeah. Out of the two that I would recommend, because you're not going to get me recommending 13th or 14th gen Intel to you. It's just not going to happen. So 265K, the one system they have is out of range, and the 285K also out of range, the three systems they have. So you can undervolt anything. Getting it stable is an art. Well, I mean, so it's the same thing with overclocking. Anytime you're messing with the parameters of how your hardware is running, like in terms of power draw, frequency, all that, take your time. Do not rush it. Look up as many guides as you need, and don't go overboard right off the bat. What Intel would you suggest? Like for what use case, Johnny Boy? because I'm currently helping somebody else out. I know what they're using the PC for. Well, I thought I knew anyway. I know their budget. I know what color they want the system to be, whether they prefer price to performance or boutique. That's what the forum is for. So it helps me make recommendations without being reckless with it. You know what I mean? Okay. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to put my tag on the end of this. We're going to look at the price after discount and all that, but this might automatically put my code on there for you. It might not. In case it doesn't, code is SWARM, Swarm, for our community. It's a code provided to our community by SkyTech. Just like the other codes that we have. Oh, wait, hold on. This had information here on the monitor. The Moon Shadow 27-inch 180 hertz VA monitor. So it's a VA panel. 27-inch monitor. Okay. All right. Nice. View cart. Thank you. Remove. No, that's all there. Yeah, so that's free. Maybe we can get a better look at it. It is curved. It has VESA mounting, which is nice. Looks like you have 2 DisplayPort, 2 HDMI, plus a USB connection for something. I don't know what. A headphone jack. Cool, cool. It has an external power supply, which I think is generally a good thing for a monitor. In case the power supply dies, you don't have to replace the whole thing. You just have to replace that. Let's see, 1500R curvature, 180 hertz. But it said, didn't it say 165? Okay, not 180 hertz, 1440p. Pretty sick, not gonna lie. And that price is insane if you just wanted to buy one, but 3.7 millisecond response time is not high in general, but a little high for this category, but that kind of explains the price a little bit. We don't know the HDMI or DisplayPort specs. So essentially, if you're looking for a pretty solid monitor for getting started out before you invest in a high-end one, or you want a secondary monitor, this thing is great. It looks like it anyways. I feel you, Mikey. I feel you. Okay, so with my discount code added on, $60 off. Add another $50 off if you do the whole email thing in the very beginning. And you have this for $1889. $1889. What the hell? 9000X3D, 9070XT, 2 terabyte Gen 4 drive, plus a 1000 watt power supply, 80 plus gold, and 32 gigs Zetor 6000, and a free 27-inch 1440p monitor. What the hell? That's bananas, man. That's crazy. Yes, you can stream with this as well. Yes. Trevor, this is something I mention quite often in my streams. Because here's the thing. This is all, it's purely price to performance. You're not going to get a high-end motherboard. It's a few cut corners in order to get you a deal like that. But it is full ATX on the motherboard, which is nice because then you have expandability and you can add something like this PCIe add-in card for more USB ports. One of the main issues I have when a company claims a PC is good for streaming is that it usually doesn't have enough USB ports on the back, and that drives me crazy as a streamer. So this is like $30 on Amazon. So I can't tell you which one to get because I don't know what motherboard you're getting and what specs the PCIe slots are. But generally, you can get an X1 version of this, and it's like $30. It plugs in. You put in a single screw, and it's plug and play. Turn your PC back on because you have it off when you're putting these in, by the way. Like, power it down, switch off the power supply, and unplug it, and then install this. That's so easy to do, though. Super easy. Tanmay, I think it might even come with a keyboard and mouse, though they're not like super nice, but I think it comes with a keyboard and mouse. Big Jelly, what's up? I don't care for curved monitors, but that monitor is pretty snazzy, I can't lie. For 170, yeah. For $170, that's pretty solid. I prefer IPS, and you'll generally pay like $50 more for some of the ones I've looked at. That's a hell of a deal. And the VA panels have come a long way from where they used to be. No problem, Trevor. You got it. Peckish, if you want, here you go. Here's the link. Guess what? My code works for this monitor too. So you can get a little discount on that. It won't be a big discount, but it would work for it. Okay. Let me put the link here. I just messed that up because I had the link for the system before and I lost that. Let me grab it. I'll tell you, Build Redux couldn't come close to this. And if you're doing gaming, especially competitive gaming only, and also, by the way, the 9800X 3D can totally stream too. That's the CPU I'm using right now for streaming. It's just going to be better for Call of Duty in general and for competitive gaming in general as well. I should say Call of Duty specifically and competitive gaming in general. You're going to do better with AMD's X3D chips. So, yeah. Again, that doesn't mean that the latest Intel chips can't play games. They absolutely can. And I don't think anybody would be like upset at what the gaming is like. It's quite good. I've done it on this thing. It's awesome. It's just numbers are a little bigger on AMD. So, and that's consistent. Does Skytech charge a lot to ship to Australia? Peckish, I don't think they ship to Australia. It would probably cost about as much as the PC, if not more, to ship to Australia. Yeah, you're better off buying from an SI in Australia. And there are several. I think I've been on Marvels mainly, but I love COD too. Awesome. I couldn't find a video where they tested Marvel Rivals. I don't know what's up with that. What IEMs are you using? I am using the Critical and Truth Ear collab, the Zeros. They're like $50 for, I think, dual driver. They're super good. They're super comfortable. And $50 is insane for this level of quality. So it's the Truth Ear and Critical Zeros. That's what they are. Didn't expect so. Yep. Okay, Sans Racing. Is Sans Racing here? I've been going pretty strong here for a bit. This is good. So far, we're on our fourth person here. Truly grateful for the help. Hey, come back anytime. Here's and the thing is, I want people to understand. Like, I feel like you don't just benefit from me giving you free help on finding a PC. But although if you do use a coupon code, that does help me out, by the way. So don't feel like this is charity or anything, because it helps me continue to help more people because I get to keep doing this. That's why I'm not here asking for subs and donos and stuff like that. I make it very clear. If you use a coupon code that I have, just like any other content creator, it saves you money, but it also supports what I do. But anyways, just hanging out, if you hang out more frequently, you're going to hear me explaining more PC stuff all the time, and you're going to get more and more comfortable with it. One of the ways that marketing can get you when it comes to PC stuff and other tech stuff is when you're unfamiliar and uncomfortable with technology. You haven't gotten comfortable with it yet. You don't know enough about it yet. You're not really... They'll prey on that and get you to spend more money than you need to. So, like, we just went from me watching a video, I was like, you know what? Yeah, this would be just fine. Let's go ahead and put you on the 9070 XT instead. And you saved $500 and got a free monitor. So there you go. Peckish, I don't know the thing with your hands. I know people are saying that, but I don't know the hands thing. So, no. I'm afraid I can't do that. I don't know what you mean by do the thing with your hands. I just know people have been saying that, or kids in school have been saying that. It's just kind of weird. Like, I get some memes. I get their origins. I get that. I'm 43 years old. I'm not about to do that. Look it up. No, I don't want to. But thanks. Look it up. Do this meme. No, thanks. I'm good, bro. Thank you. This is like people telling Carter to do the thug shake. Like, dude doesn't want to do the thug shake. Let it go. I don't even know what the thug shake is. It's a dance, I guess. They say it because they heard it in a stupid song. Well, if you think it's stupid, don't spread it. That's the main reason I was afraid to go to a store. Yeah, I mean, it's like going to a used car lot. I can't blame someone for trying to make a living, but I feel like educating your consumer in the long run benefits the consumer and the company more, and the corporation or whatever. Rather than pull the wool over their eyes, charge $2,000 for a spray undercoat or whatever. Don't do that stuff. But they will, and they'll try to do that, and their bosses are pushing them to do it, and they got to pay their bills. So, but if you go in educated, if you are an educated consumer, you can save a lot of money and have a better time. And you can reduce things like buyer's remorse. Yeah. And also you can help the people around you. Been trying to find a nice pre-built, but most of the ones I see that have the parts I want are liquid cooled. Having never had liquid cooling before, it worries me a little. Am I worrying too much? Big Jelly, yes, you are worrying too much. AIOs, if you're talking about an all-in-one liquid cooler where it's just a CPU liquid cooler, they have, first off, they've come a long way from when they first started becoming a thing, and they've been solid for years. To the point where when there's one that when there's a batch that have consistent issues, people yell about it because it's not normal. It is the exception. As a matter of fact, I highly recommend all-in-one liquid coolers for pre-builts because they're much safer to ship. The reason they have to do all this GPU support stuff is because it's weight hanging off of the motherboard and the back of the case, right? Well, an air cooler is the same thing. It's a bunch of weight hanging off the motherboard. An all-in-one liquid cooler, most of that weight is mounted to the case, not able to move around, not just 4 screws in the motherboard holding it there. No, it's all secured to the case, and it's much more secure, much safer for shipping. But also, there's other inherent benefits to liquid cooling as well for CPUs. Like a lot of times when you're running a benchmark and you're watching the temperatures in your CPU, it will spike hard at the beginning and then get pulled down. And all-in-one liquid coolers handle that way better. And can generally, in a lot of cases, they can run quieter, unless you're talking about like certain $120 air coolers. But at that price point, you can just buy an AIO anyway, and it'll be something like the same volume. Unless it's just, some cheaper ones have louder fans. I'll be honest about that. They do. But they can also run at lower RPM because they handle heat spikes better. And they can just generally run at a lower RPM, and in that way, the radiator is brute forcing the cooling. I know I'm getting into a lot there, but just all-in-one liquid coolers have inherent benefits. The main benefit of an air cooler, other than them, for the most part being a little cheaper, depending on what you want and what you buy, is that the only moving part on it is the fans, and those are usually replaceable. On a liquid cooler, you have other moving parts, but they generally will go for 5-6 years without any problems. Every meme in 2025 is stupid. Come on now. In 25, well, people like stupid things. That's why memes are mimetic. Like, that's why it works. But yeah, Big Jelly, the thing is, you're totally fine with liquid cooling. Don't let that stop you. Don't let that worry you. And besides, if you buy a pre-built with a solid warranty, what do you have to worry about? You're guaranteed to have a working PC. So just fill out the form that's linked in the description, and I can help you find the right one for you. Like, I can help you sort of min-max depending on what your budget is, what you're going to use it for. Check it out. It's linked in the description. It's the first thing there. Sans Racing, are you here? Man, I sent just one message, and you absolutely dumped loads of great info on me. Thanks a lot, dude. No problem. I got you. Yo, what's up with that? Hold on. Franktastic757, thank you for the $5 super chat. Let's go, nerds. First PC build, I have an 011 Vision Compact, 9800 X3D, 64 gigs of RAM, X870E carbon Wi-Fi. Which 5080 would you recommend? The cheapest one you can get, because the performance is nearly indistinguishable from one to the next. Get the one that looks the way you like the most. Blah, 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 OC, yada, yada, whatever gimmick. Get the one that is the cheapest that you like the look of. There you go. Forex Teddy, hey, Bray, can my stream lag because of bad Wi-Fi? Yes. Any internet-based service can lag if your Wi-Fi is bad. Period. Yes. If you are streaming, go with a hardline Ethernet connection. It will always be more reliable. Oh, that's why people say they like me. Damn. Nice one, Peckish. Oh, yeah, thanks again, Franktastic, for the super chat. My advice to you again is, yeah, there are some ridiculously priced 5080s, okay? Get the one that is the cheapest, that you like the look of. That's full stop. That's all you need to worry about. I mean, there are literally 5080s out there that are the base MSRP of $999 right now, and you still got Asus out here trying to sell an $1,800 5080. Get the hell out of here, Asus. How can you hardware when the router is on a different floor or a house? Well, WX fan, I'll tell you this. If you own the property, you can drill in the walls and drop it down. But the problem is between floors, you're going to have like a whole floor there. I have seen it where some people have had me well, I mean, there's different things you can do where if you have phone line, there are times when that is actually Cat 6 or Cat 5 cable, if it's like a phone line, and you can trace back to where those go, and then you just make it RJ45 instead. If you're not sure about any of that, you can hire an electrician to do it for you, but then it costs money. If it's all the way across the house, you got other problems anyway, because if you're on Wi-Fi, like that's bad Wi-Fi too. You can call your internet service provider. They can usually run an Ethernet line for you if they're willing to provide that service. I used to do it. But power line networking, a la carte, I'm not a huge fan of, but mesh Wi-Fi actually can be really awesome. I've seen issues with power line networking, but it probably has gotten a lot better than it used to back then. Not my house. Okay. Well, if it's right below it, just put it out the window and down the side, and you can get little things to attach it to the side of the house. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. When it comes to, especially say an older house, that's when you'd be looking at external runs, and your internet service provider might do that too. That means drilling through the wall, including an exterior wall, and if there's brick, that means you need to have an impact with a what is it? A masonry bit. It's a whole process, okay? And then you need to seal it up with silicone so it doesn't leak. You don't get any rain going in or anything like that. There's a whole process to it. Have your internet service provider do it if they're willing to do so. Okay, Bray, thanks for your build. I'm live and can chase my dream. Okay, you got it, 4X Teddy. That's good. Best of luck to you. You know what worries me? The fact that the first time someone called me Unk, they immediately apologized. And that means that some people might see it as insulting and then call me that anyway. Like, I'm cool being acknowledged as being older. I am older than most of my viewers, probably. But like, if you feel like it's insulting and you're like, I'm going to call you this and I'm sorry for doing it, just don't. Okay, that's great. The reviews on the PC you showed are a little sketchy. Okay, can you tell me what reviews you're talking about? Oh, okay, here we go. Disappointing. Got this today 5 months ago. Disappointed. The Gigabyte motherboard was 650C V2 with... Okay. Wi-Fi is slow on it. Games keep crashing. Don't know what's wrong with it. And CPU... Don't know what's wrong with it. You and CPU work fine, but everything lags when I play online. Horrible when I play games. This is just talking about coil whine. Some GPUs have coil whine, some don't. It's like a lottery thing. If you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't, and that's fine. They're complaining about their internet. Wi-Fi is slow. Okay, what's the deal with your Wi-Fi? How far away is it located? Did you connect the antennas? Y'all have to understand, I've sold some PCs and things like that, and every time someone says they're having problems with the Wi-Fi, they didn't connect the antennas I gave them. But this is someone complaining about internet. Everything lags when I play online. If your Wi-Fi is slow, you need to get your Wi-Fi fixed. That's not the PC. No, I do not recommend this product. Okay, good job, buddy. Now this one, they're also complaining about their Wi-Fi. So I don't know what to tell you. I'll tell you this, Trevor. If you want to see what Skytech's service is like, go to our Discord and go to the SI Testimonials group of channels and look at the Skytech channel and read all the positive reviews there. Most of the community, I mean, it's one of the most positively regarded SIs in the community. And that's actual community members who have made purchases. So go check that out. What's up, B2? How's it going? Received my PC from Exotic. Was a good experience. Did not get to pick out my GPU and did not meet my expectations. So I contacted them and swapped with a new inbox. Okay. There's a whole story here. Took a bit longer than expected. Ran into build changes because cooler block wasn't in stock for custom cooler. They did change it and refunded the difference, but kept the tax. Also, I mean, tax, they don't keep tax. Tax goes to the government, I guess. I don't know. Also, I did pick out black fans and Leaf fans. They only supply 6. I supposed to be 3 120, 3 140. Sent me all 120. Filter space with their own fans and white blades, but no big deal. Well, no, if you paid for Leaf fans and they're giving you their like pennies on the dollar proprietary fans, B2, you get the Leaf fans. Like, why can't they get the build right? They're not the right size. They're probably way cheaper and they pocket the extra money. No, they need to give you the fans that you paid for. Chris Crawford, ISP is Internet Service Provider. Okay, thank you. Just very hesitant buying my first PC. Thank you. No problem. I am confident with when it comes to Skytech. Just don't tell Jeff I said that. WXM, what is an SI? SI is system integrator, like iBuyPower, Skytech, gaming, companies like more boutique ones like Alexander PCs, Sick PCs, yada, yada. They're a company that puts PCs together that uses off-the-shelf components instead of an OEM like Dell, HP, Lenovo, the ones I don't generally recommend. I generally recommend a company that uses off-the-shelf components because they're easier to upgrade, easier to fix, and all of that good stuff. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the reviews. Like, you should be reading stuff like that. It's just going in here and seeing this person saying, my Wi-Fi is slow, so you shouldn't buy this PC. That has nothing to do with my Wi-Fi. Like, okay, just sure, bud. But then people see this. That sucks for Skytech, man. It really does. And for a lot of companies that deal with stuff like that. Y'all have to understand something. I want to be diplomatic about this. But I've been on that other side, right? Where I'm taking the calls. I am doing service calls for end users, for clients, things like that. It has to be 75, 80% of the time. Issues that I'm fixing either don't actually exist or they were caused by the user. It does happen that way. That was my experience. And the anger that people feel at being told that uncomfortable truth that they then direct back at the person who is literally just trying to help them and help them avoid doing it again, it is mind-boggling. How entitled people can feel, how they can feel so entitled to yell at someone that they have no business yelling at, who is trying to get them fixed up. It's crazy. Maybe 75, 80% is incorrect. Maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration. It certainly felt that way. Like the times I've had to charge someone a trip fee because they insisted their computer had crashed, refused to let me support them on the phone. I tell them, hey, there's going to be a trip fee. If it was a warranty thing, if it's not a problem with the PC, it's going to be a trip fee. That's fine. That's fine. I'll pay it. Come out here. And then their monitor was powered off. The amount of time someone will say my computer crashed, and it's just like it went to sleep or something. Y'all got to stop using words like that if you don't know what that means. If there's not a blue screen there, it did not crash. That is not what that means. Just your thing not working the way you want. That's not a crash by default. But like, also have the patience to have tech support help you over the phone. These are complicated systems, but sometimes Occam's razor's got something different to say about that. Okay? The simplest solution is the right one. The simplest answer can sometimes be the right one. You got to go through the boring steps first. When I first started watching you, I did not know what SI or PSU, UPS, you taught me all that and so much more. Braxton, I'm happy to help. And sometimes I say it, and I know there's a reason I'm changing the name of the YouTube show from SI Weekly. First off, it sure as hell hasn't been weekly, has it? For months anyway. To PC Gateway. It's a lot more appropriate. People know what PC means, but people don't automatically know what SI means. It didn't make sense to have it named that. Equis Noctua, what's up? What's your most embarrassing tech problem you had like that? That I've had? Well, the most embarrassing tech problems I've had is when the numerous times I built a PC and I went to turn it on and I had not flipped on the power supply. Because I do it in front of people. It's great. I have done that on stream. It's awesome. But as for embarrassing tech problems I've helped someone with, maybe? Generally, it has to do with viruses acquired during, PC viruses that they get by browsing sites they probably shouldn't have. That I don't know why I can't close this. I didn't need to know that that person was into that. Didn't need to, didn't want to. But, sir, you are a lawyer in your law office. Maybe don't do that here. Because you're on the business network where there is a server with a lot of people's personal information. You don't want to jeopardize that. Yeah. That's pretty embarrassing for them. People, when the Wi-Fi connection is slow, change to the landline and then test things. Oh, you're saying, hey, people, when the Wi-Fi connection is slow, go to landline and test things. I would, honestly, I'm so used to just having my gateway or modem / router or whatever near where my PC setup is going to be. I know that I'm going to do that when I'm like moving in somewhere or wherever. I just do that because I hardline PCs. I don't run them off of Wi-Fi if I can help it. Laptops, sure, run that off of Wi-Fi. It makes sense. But a stationary PC, like, unless you really can't do it, you should be closer to your router if you can. Now, I know in some apartments, your internet service provider is going to put it where they want to put it. But in a lot of apartments, you can have it in any of the rooms you want. I have installed that before. They usually have network, whatever. Anyways. So, okay. It sounds like the person I've been calling out for, Sans Racing, is not here. I ended up ordering new fans already, not to bother. It was overpaying, just wasn't sure how much until later. B2, yeah. I would not let them off the hook until it's picture perfect, and they should have to pay the shipping the whole way, both times. Like companies like that, there's a reason Zydax is no longer in our list of coupon codes. They should, before the thing is ever boxed up and shipped back to you, they should be talking to you, verifying everything you're expecting, and making sure it meets those expectations. And they need to have expensive lessons if they refuse to learn that. You can't let them get away with that. And you're spending extra money now. But, all right. I can't tell you how to do it. Johnny Boy says, what camera are you using? Johnny Boy, it is very excessive, and I only have it because I'm a YouTuber as well, but it is a Sony FX3 cinema camera with a 20mm f1.8 Sony G lens. Giovanni Yatra, what's up? I don't know if I already said hi, but I remember formatting and reinstalling my OS, but then it wouldn't finish installing because there was an antivirus feature in the BIOS that was turned on. Antivirus feature in BIOS. Interesting. I have no clue how people get a computer virus these days. Anything is possible if you believe in yourself, Araxnus. I run Ethernet through my living room. White cables with the stick-on wall hooks. That's the best. Like I was saying earlier, you can get a 100-foot Cat 6 cable with those kind of wall hook things for like $18 on Amazon. That's gonna reach, you know, a couple rooms over. Rurutu, I do have some stuff like, but I don't see any reason to have those. Rurutu, you have to understand, I have so much gear and setup and camera stuff. It would just erase all the rest of chat if I had a message for that. No thanks. System International SI units. Well, that would be a different way to use that. I deal with reviews constantly as a digital marketer. We call it reputation management campaigns. I feel proud to do it for honest companies, but most people who use the service are screwing customers. That's unfortunate. Okay, so Sans Racing not here. Sushi, JDJS Sushi, are you here? I'm starting to get tired. Oh, I should mention, Johnny Boy, it's not just the camera. I also have it on a gimbal that tracks my movement. So it is an absolutely excessive face cam for sure. Nobody who's just streaming should be getting this setup. It's just because I do YouTube stuff. I've filmed interviews. I've done things like that. So. While I do love talking about camera gear, I actually get a little bit, like, I don't know, embarrassed when I talk about the camera I'm using to stream on. The FX3 is literally Netflix certified. I could film a Netflix series with this. It is way overkill. What I would say, hold on, just stay right there. This table's a mess and I don't want you to see it. If someone is just streaming and they want to improve their face cam, I would probably recommend this guy right here. There's no lens on it right now. This is, you have swappable lenses, which is great. Here, I have one over here, actually. Hold on. Stay there. This is like the goated setup for if you're like really wanting to invest in your stream. Okay, this is a ZV-E10. You can find these used for probably like maybe $300-400 with a kit lens, but the lens I would recommend is probably going to be, if you get it used, maybe $400 or $500 or less. Actually, no, less. It would probably be like $300. But this is a Sigma 16mm f1.4. There, that. And it is fantastic wide angle setup here. Oh, I should probably look at where my dot is at. There we go. I built the YouTube channel with this rig right here. Big Jelly, if you're looking for coupon codes for different system integrators, in the Discord, there is a coupon codes channel that has all that in there. But yeah, this has a camera. This has a cage on it, by the way. And this just takes the micro HDMI, which is one of my least favorite things about this camera. I prefer full size, but this is more on the budget or beginner side of things. You do have this so that you can... You have a battery in there? I do. So that you can see, you can vlog with this if you want to. Why is there no f-stop there? Why does everything look so freaking dark? What did I do? There we go. There we go. Yeah, so you can see yourself. You can vlog with this. You know, it's not very heavy. It can basically record. There's no record time limit. Does 4K 30. Color is great on this, but it is missing some of the features that like the more like that the camera you're looking at me through right now. Just the body part, not the lens, is like $4,000. You don't need anything like that. This right here, you can get this together if you buy used, probably for like $600. So to be clear, there are webcams that are like $300. This you can use for recording YouTube videos. You can change the lens so that you can get something like you can get a longer focal length lens. You can change the lenses out, all that stuff. It's really, really nice. So that's basically where I would direct you if you want to get a mirrorless camera. Now with this, you need something that can capture it. Though it does work with USB-C as a webcam, you just get like 1080p at max, or maybe 720. I'm not sure. I recommend using the HDMI, but then you need a capture card. You can get yourself a Camlink Pro or a Camlink 4K USB capture card for like $99. So it's not too bad. There you go. Little camera info. Oh, dang, there's Discord. Where can I find a link to it? In the description, Big Jelly. Right there in the description. One thing I like about the YouTube streams is that there is a description with links in there and stuff. But would you be willing to help me make sure all my settings are correct and everything is running the way it is supposed to be? B2, that would that's not really a service I provide. You'll know if things aren't running the way they're supposed to if your stuff isn't running right. Like if it's lagging a lot, if programs are crashing, things like that. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Big Jelly, you got it. There it is. Okay. So the next person, not here. Solid investment and multi-purpose. Oh yeah. No, this thing is absolutely super versatile. Yeah. Like I said, I built the YouTube channel on this. I love this camera. Currently, it was my top-down camera. A miracle happened, guys. A miracle. When I wanted to upgrade from this, I got the Sony FX30, which is same body as this FX3 here, but it's a crop sensor like this one. I wanted it because I already had lenses for that, but it had an internal cooling fan. At the time, I was trying to build a studio in the garage, okay? That needed the cooling. It had other features as well. It just, a lot of the professional features that I wanted, but it could use crop sensor lenses that I had. Then the HDMI and the USB-C stopped working. I was going to send it in for repairs. I did the whole thing, never got the label, never got a response, and I forgot to follow up with that from Sony. So I was like, I guess this thing is just, I can still record on it, but that's it. I tested it randomly like a couple months ago. The HDMI and the USB-C started working again. I ain't touching it. It's now my top-down camera. For a long time, though, this was my top-down cam. But whenever I'm going to do interviews, stuff like that, it's a great, like, secondary... Can you keep following me? Thank you. It's a great secondary camera, and then also this does 4K. So I have a 3-camera setup for interviews now, which is just great. It's awesome. You guys will get to see it when I finally get the interview with Rob... The second interview I've done with Rob Teller published. You'll see it. Pretty nice. I'm missing stuff here, so... Yeah, it was a Pentium 100 megahertz system. Basically supposed to be protection against reinstalling over the first 100 blocks of hard drive. I don't know why they labeled it as antivirus. Oh, okay. I swear I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen it myself. That is crazy. I find Geek Squad an interesting place to visit and hear different people's issues. I'm happy I can fix my own. Barutu, have a good one. Geek Squad is not my favorite. I've met some great people who work there, but it's the way that Best Buy runs it, the way that they do things. They first, like, Best Buy creates issues and then Geek Squad charges you to fix them, which is solid business, I guess, but terrible for consumers. Like Best Buy gets paid money to put bloatware on their pre-builts, and then Geek Squad turns around when you're buying your PC and is like, hey, for $75, we'll remove all that terrible bloatware that they put on there. So they make money on both ends. That's how they did things back when I was working adjacent to Best Buy. I was in a Best Buy, but I wasn't working at Best Buy. I was selling clear internet, which was pretty cool at the time. They charge bloatware companies, your Norton antivirus, stuff like that, to put bloatware on their PCs, and then they charge you to remove it. Whew. Not a fan of Geek Squad. That's what they were doing while I was there. This was quite a while back. I have no reason to think they've stopped doing this. But I want to be clear that that was a practice they were doing a while back. There is a new ZV E1, and I think that one's full frame and costs more, by the way. I need to look it up. But I can tell you, a used ZV E10 will take you very far. Or I think it's a ZV1, and then the ZV E1. I'm not sure. ZV E2, maybe? I've been keeping up. I've got enough cameras. Sony, you're not getting any more of my money. Leave me alone. I'll take some of yours, though, if you want to sponsor stuff. I just don't do camera content. Okay, so Sushi. JDJS Sushi, not here. Form Filament 3D. Are you present? Are you here? I know that was a while back that you guys all filled these out, but you do need to be present for me to help you. Richard Nicholson, what's up? Not Lord, but okay. Braythorn of the Southern Hive and his humble bumble subjects. I like that. That's actually good. You threw me off with the Lord Braythorn thing, but then you followed up and it got good. I like that. I don't know how many of them are actually humble though. I'll be honest. I'll leave that to them to decide. Form Filament 3D. No? Okay. Big Chop MM, thank you for the follow 39 minutes ago. I appreciate that. Also, Human VT, I'm pretty sure you're not here anymore, but thank you for the follow a while back. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Oh, so I don't know if I revealed this to y'all. I might have hinted at it. So, for those who are regulars here, you've seen Imit. I've rated Imit before on Twitch. And for any of you who haven't been part of, if you follow retro speedrunning, you probably know who Imit is. You've seen him at GDQ events and things like that. We were discussing an upcoming project we're doing together. And I think I went into a stream, was it this earlier today, this afternoon, something like that. And he announced to them that I'm going to be on his stream building his new PC after TwitchCon. So that's pretty cool. I want y'all to know that's going to be happening. Emmett, one of my favorite dudes, seriously. One of my favorite speedrunners, absolutely awesome speedrunner and streamer. We've been planning this for a little bit. So I'm going to be, after TwitchCon, heading up to San Francisco to do that. So now, because he lives in San Francisco, I should have a call tomorrow where I might be finding out if there's another fun stream that I'll be getting onto. or podcast. I'll find out. I certainly hope so. It was so much fun before, and they're so nice. So we'll see. So fun stuff happening very soon, but that does mean the regular streams will be on pause while I am at TwitchCon and then in San Francisco after that. And there's even something before TwitchCon I got to do. I gotta finalize my travel stuff very quickly because it's like mid next week I'd need to be leaving. So time sure flies when we are all buzzing around the hive. Big Jelly says none of us are humble though, or none of them are humble. I am humble. I'm the most humble. Nobody more humble than me. Any vlogs of TwitchCon? Potentially. Alucard, I've realized I go to so many things and it's for the content. TwitchCon is not really for the content. I go to TwitchCon for the streamers. I've gone there and done panels and stuff, and that's super fun. I hope to do that again. I never plan it out in advance early enough, but I usually go there to hang out with my streamer friends and make more friends. But the content is around like before and after TwitchCon. So before I'll be doing a video with Skytech, and after I'm going to be doing the stream with Emmett, and that is probably going to be Tuesday or Wednesday of the week after TwitchCon. So like late. Let me see. What is that going to be date-wise? Oh, that's over here. 1 second. 23rd. Oh, no. The 21st or the 22nd. Right around then. So basically, if you'll keep an eye on the announcements channel in the Discord. Also that I'm going to post on Twitter as well. But probably no vlogs, though. I've realized I'm not a good vlogger. I'm just not. I'm not great at vlogging. Now, if we get to go to... Part of the plan is to get a few of the parts, because he's ordered a bunch of it already. But the rest of it, we're going to go get at the Santa Clara Micro Center. And if they allow me to, I'll reach out to my contact at Micro Center. I haven't talked to him in a long time. But I'll reach out to him and ask for permission to film in there. Maybe film the Micro Center trip. That could be cool. Stream the Tenderloin. Lol, I'm from the Bay. Johnny Boy, I've been to San Francisco one time, and I feel like I should know what that means. But I've only been there once. Well, I went through there coming back from Computex this year, but I didn't get to stay this time. Micro Center shopping run sounds fun. Could be cool. Will be cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking that if we do Micro Center, I might take a detour and go look at their power spec pre-builts and give a quick little assessment. Oh, Trevor says, whenever you have time to answer, if you can, do you know how many USB slots the King 95 has? Yeah, you can see them on the front of the case. There's 2 USB Type A's and 1 Type C. It's the ghetto, lol, don't go. Okay, all right. I mean, I'm gonna have a local as a guide over there, so I think you know, he'll know where I should go and where I shouldn't go. Plus, Emmett is an absolute foodie, so I'm sure we're gonna eat very well. Tanmay, I feel like you could have shortened that into Humblebee. I think that would have been kind of cool. So none on... what? I'm not sure why it pasted twice. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I didn't say nothing. It's right next to Apple Park. Really? Okay. Interesting. However, I don't know. I feel like this has wound down. None of the last 3 people that I was trying to help out stuck around, I guess. Sans Racing, Sushi, JDJS Sushi, or Form Filament 3D. So, yeah. Honestly, what's a good length for a warranty? How much is too much for the money, or too little to matter? The value of a warranty is subjective, I suppose. Like, Skytech by default gives you a 1-year warranty, but you can up it to 2 or 3. There are some but that's full parts and labor plus shipping. With like iBuyPower, you get 5 years labor, 3 years parts. And then there's like Alexander PCs,
That's lifetime warranty, parts and labor, but you have to pay shipping if you have to send it to them, which is pretty reasonable. But I mean, considering that could mean a free like $700 repair or something, or replacing a $1,200 GPU for you or something, longer than after it would have normally gone out of warranty, that could definitely be worth it. So no USB on the back. Well, Trevor, of course there's USB on the motherboard. One thing I was mentioning, and I specifically went over this with you, because you don't know what motherboard you're getting. You might need to, if you run out, if there's not enough USB, because we don't know how many there's going to be. There's going to be some, for sure. At least 5 or 6. But if you need more, you can add in a PCIe USB add-in card like this one here. See that? It just slots into the motherboard, and you have to take off one of the little covers there, and then you just put in one screw. It slots in. You have to do it carefully, but it slots in, and then you turn your PC back on, and it's plug and play, and it'll work. But yes, every computer has USB slots on the back. But because you said how many USB slots the King 95 has, specifically the King 95 has those 3. 2 Type A's, that's the rectangle ones, and 1 Type C. That's the case. If you want to know how many the motherboard has, we don't know, because they don't specify a specific motherboard. Because with as many PCs as Skytech sells per month, they could never have enough of a single motherboard to be able to say it's going to have this motherboard. Ready for OPM in a few days? Are you saying One Punch Man? Is there more One Punch Man coming out? I wasn't aware. I love One Punch Man, so that's cool, but I didn't know that. Season 3, October 12th. Nice. I don't know if I finished Season 2. It just didn't feel the same to me as Season 1 did. Like, it didn't grab me like Season 1 did. So I probably need to go, and if I finished it, I need to at least refresh myself, clearly. Sorry, I do remember you telling me that now. My bad. No, you're good. What's the name of that thing you showed me in case I need one? It is a PCIe USB card. Here, I'm just going to type it for you. Here you go. It's all good. I know it makes sense to me, right? But that's, yeah, let me see. There you go. They're like $30 on Amazon. One thing you want to make sure of, though, is that you get the one that says X1, not X4. Okay, I should probably type that, but yeah. You can always rewind the stream and you can hear the things I just said. There you go. It needs to be PCIe X1, not X4. And that'll be in the description somewhere of the product. Just link it here. I'm about to end stream. I mean, I don't know. If you want to do that, you can. There's some good. Oh, that I don't know. Okay, just all right. Sure. 1 second. Give me a second, guys. 1 second. I need to find one now. I need to shop for one now. So give me a second. Sorry. When I get tired and I'm like, okay, I'm ending the stream. Anything that stops me from doing that, I get exasperated with. I apologize. No, it's okay. I say this stuff because, like, it's easy for me to just say stuff because I know it. So I'm actually going to put this link in the form somewhere so I just have it. At the top. There, now I just have that. Yeah, it's $35. And this one here adds, oh my God, okay. Let's see, 7 USB ports. Not saying you need it, You might not. You might get a motherboard with lots of USB ports. But for streaming, it helps if you're going to be streaming. Okay. Okay, we are gonna raid a friend of mine. A friend of mine is Jacob, Mired Media. Awesome dude, and very smart dude. Knows PC stuff too. So, yeah, a little bit. So we're gonna be doing that. Anybody I didn't get to help out, please make sure you filled out the form. I'll help you out on the next PC matchmaking stream. That's gonna be Sunday, 8 p.m. around 8 p.m. Central. And make sure you did that so you're on the list to get some help. And I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are too. Let me just get this running here. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'll catch y'all on the next one Sunday around 8 p.m. Central. And we'll have a grand old time. For those of you who are joining the raid, thank you very much. You're welcome, John, of course. And anyone in the YouTube stream who wants to jump in and join the Twitch raid, the link is in the description, twitch.tv/Braithorn. And I'll catch y'all on Sunday. Until then, take care.
Let's go, nerds!